Today we'll do I was about to say last tier list for the Gwent card tier list series, but no, neutrals are still left, and that's going to be a really long video. Excellent cards. These are the best cards in the faction, the ones that are incredibly powerful, the ones that are maybe just incredibly efficient, ones that are widely played or extremely powerful in their specific decks. Good cards are solid, they're good options, you see them played, and they feel pretty good to use. Okay cards are just a step below. Usually they're not included, but they're an option you could consider, maybe in certain metas. Maybe sometimes you think they'll be pretty okay. Maybe they're a little bit too situational, but they're on the edge. They're all right. But you'd usually play something above them. Niche cards are cards that are really hard to rank because they're either incredibly meta dependent or they're really dependent on something. They're not necessarily bad cards. They have a spot where they're really, really good. Maybe that spot's too specific. Maybe that spot is... Well, we'll get to some cards like this eventually. The classic example for this is like... Well, we'll get to it when we get there. I don't want to throw cards out on the tier list yet. We have weak cards. These ones are a little bit below the rate you want on your cards. You probably shouldn't be playing them, but sometimes maybe they're all right. You don't want to play them generally, though. They probably need a buff. Bad cards are just really bad. You don't want to use these pretty much ever. They need to be buffed. And in the case of some of them, that need multiple buffs. But yeah, don't use these ones. And then we have meme cards, which are just meme. They're unplayable other than for fun. And that being said, as I always say, the whole point of playing the game is to have fun. So that does mean the meme cards certainly have a place in the game. I'll say that. But yeah, let's get into some actual cards here for Syndicate. Historically, the best faction at high MMRs, at the very top of the ladder, Syndicate is the best faction almost always, in terms of win rate and such. And that's just because the coin mechanic makes it a lot harder to play. So that being said, let's get into these cards and see what makes this faction work. Well, Akarantia is excellent. Akarantia fallen out of popularity. It's hard to say for sure, though, because Syndicate is such an unpopular faction in general. But we'll do our best to rank this here. Akarantia, incredibly powerful. You get 6 coins when you play it. Then each time you spend the 12 coins, you get to play the top card of your deck. If we take a look at it here in the deck builder, it gives you 6, Vice 12. Vice is a keyword for Syndicate, obviously, where you spend a certain amount of coins. DCO 300 TDI. Someone has featured as a shout out in every single one of these. Before I remember to turn off my GOG. That's your shout out today, guy. Anyway, Akarantia, you got the 6 coins. 6 coins, you can typically rate a coin when rating these cards. A coin is usually going to be rated at about 1.5 points, between 1 and 1.5 points. Depending on how you spend the coins, obviously makes a difference. So just on the face of it, this is a 5. That gets probably, we'll just say 8 value from the coins that it gives you. That's 13 for 13 if you spend it. And the upside is if you vice once, you got an extra card. Extra card is quite a bit of value. If it goes up more than once, you're looking at a very, very potent effect. And the point of these decks is you play the Akarantia, trigger the vice that turn, play the card. Maybe the card gives you coins, and you can keep going. But overall, very powerful card. Its deck is not the most popular at the moment, but this card is incredibly strong. Adalbertus is okay. Profit 2, fee 2, purify a unit. The nice thing about Adalbertus is he's one of the only, other than Gremist, is one of the only ways to repeatedly remove a bunch of statuses. Yeah, he can repeatedly remove a bunch of statuses, which is nice. It's just you usually don't need to repeatedly remove a bunch of statuses. If you only need to remove one status, you have the neutral bronze Peller, for example. So usually if you're not removing 2, this isn't worth it. And like all the in-faction 6 provision Purify cards, there is the upside. This gives you 2 coins. You don't have to spend them. That being said, you have better options to Purify, even in faction, than this, which we'll get to later. There's actually 2 6th version Purify cards in this faction. This one just doesn't make the cut unless you specifically want to remove multiple statuses. That's almost never the case. Next up, we have Adriano the Mink. I'm just going to double check we have the right image here because he's been changed several times. Yes, we do. Perfect. I'm just double checking, guys. As we mentioned before, I clipped all the updated cards, put them in here, and hopefully we don't have anything wrong. But let's see here. So Adriano the Mink, if you're going all in on the Sly Seductresses, making extra one is nice because it's a bonded card, it gets better payoff with extras. You do get some coins here, actually. If you take a look here, you get an increased profit for each seductress you already control. So if you already have out a couple succubuses, not succubuses, that's monsters, seductresses, you get a bunch of coins. If you got 3 out, profit 5, pays for his tribute. That being said, it's expensive to get the seductress. You tribute 5 for a 4 provision unit, which it's not inefficient spending unless you're specifically getting the seductress like 8 points or something. He does give you the 2 profit. It's just the rate for the card isn't there unless you specifically are spamming seductresses and just need more of them. So because of that, I'm gonna put it in okay. It's an okay card if you're playing a Passiflora deck. Maybe you're playing Igor, you just want as many seductresses as possible. And for that, I'll leave it in okay instead of playing it in weak, because sometimes you do just want more seductresses, but it's not the most efficient spender. But sometimes you just want more engines. It is a good card to play to like proc your Passiflora, but overall, I'm just going to leave it in okay. I could see it being argued to be down here, but I have a soft spot for Passiflora decks. Azar. The best defender in the game. I don't think there's any argument there. In a vacuum, best defender. Sure, you can bring back Cave Troll, for example, which might make it argued there, but Azar spawns the 2... Well, if you pay his tribute, he spawns 1 defensive token. If you pay the tribute, you get 2, which means they have to use 2 removals to get through them, and you have to... Like, they could be boosted as well, like the turn you play them with Conjurer's Candle, which we'll get to shortly. But overall, probably the best defensive card. The issue is, you don't always want it. That being said, Akarantia does want it, and there are some other decks in the faction that do. I will say it's a good card. It is a very strong option for Defender, and sometimes you just want a Defender, and this is a faction where sometimes you do want the Defender. And the fact that it has a little bit of Tribute synergy matters, the fact that it has the 2 bodies really matters, and it's nice that you can just get 3 coins off of this, which is, like we said, like maybe 4 points of value, and then a 1-point defender token. The tokens are 1 with 1 armor, which means they're not too hard to remove unless you boost them up, which you can do. Which is also why if you don't have a way to boost them, making the 2 is usually worth it. But yeah, overall, very good card, I would say. If you want a defender, it's a very good defender put in your deck. Bank. Consistency cards in general I rank very highly, as I think most people do, because it just gives you the cards you need. Now, Bank is interesting because it doesn't tutor everything you need. It gives you 4 coins, look at the top card of your deck, and 1 plus each coin you have, so you can actually see 10 cards, which is something I didn't realize when I first started playing Gwent years ago when this first came out. I like to see 9 cards, but no, it's 1 plus the number of coins you have. So if your deck is small, typically round 3, you'll be able to see everything in your deck. And what you can do with Bank that's really good is you can use it flexibly. You have to pay a coin for each card down from the top of your deck the card you're tutoring is. So if you see your really good card is like 8 cards down, you can say, well, that's a lot of coins. I might just take the top card of my deck and keep the profit and use it that way, which is nice. But it's a really good flexible tutor option. It gives you the coins as well. And it's very, very strong. Very strong card. I would say it is definitely excellent. Bart. I love Bart. Bart's really a collusion gang card only, and that deck just doesn't usually have space for him. That being said, he's not a bad option. I would say Bart's an alright card. I think he's alright. So Bart's very interesting. We'll pull him up here because I don't think people have seen him very much. So he's more time in the Syndicate video because less cards. We can afford to do this. So whenever you play a unit with a gang category you don't control, gain a coin for each gang you control. If you play one with 2 gang categories, he gives you 2 coins. And really, all you need from Bart is like 4 or 5 coins, and you're really happy. So if you play 1, 2, 3, the first gang unit gives you 1, second one gives you 2, third one gives you 3, then you're at 6 coins. Then you're happy, and past that, it's fantastic. And he has 4 armor. So Bart is very hard to kill. You will often get a bunch of coins from Bart. The issue is, usually you have other cards you want to run in your deck, and those decks tend to be very provision hungry on the upper range of the deck, so you don't have room to fit, because you need like fit Sigi, Novigrad, King of Beggars, that type of stuff. Those are all like 13 plus provision cards. So it's very hard to find space for Bart. But if you do have space for Bart in a collusion gang deck specifically, not bad. Give me okay. Bincy is very good. Bincy is very good in Forgotten Treasures decks in particular. Forgotten Treasures and Golden Necker Townsfolk. Any deck where you get a bunch of coins, because her effect is when you get a coin, one or more coins, she boosts herself by the same amount. Very good synergies with several leaders. Jackpot gives her 9 coins right away, which is 9 points. Off the books gives you two coin charges you can use, 4 of them. And then in Hidden Cash, you can just use one to get her to 7. Very good synergies with leaders. Very good synergies with decks that want to really lean into getting a bunch of coins. And she's a very potent threat. It's not that hard to get your Bincy like 40, 50 points if the opponent doesn't answer her. So I will say she's good. She is row-locked, though. She's row-locked with China Hearts, and she typically forces you to spend something to give her the coins to protect her right away. She comes down at 4, which is not very good. So she is row-locked, like we said, and you do have to typically use a leader charge or something to turn you player, or like get your coins back from the Forgotten Treasure scenario to protect her from getting removed by 4 damage removal, but very dangerous card. I will leave her in good. Okay, let's talk here. Boris is really bad. Now, I will not say Boris is unplayable. Boris has a couple issues. The first issue for Boris is, that's the right picture? It is. Good. Okay, so Boris, Beast Cut Up. At the start of your turn, his fee changes to a random number between 1 and 9. If you pay the fee, this is like fee X, whatever the number he changed to is, he moves self to the other row and boosts himself by the fee cost. So you pay 1, he moves, and boosts 1. If you have 0 coins, he gets 1 coin back for each allied unit on that row. So, Boris wants to move from a row with, well, whatever, to a row with a lot of units by paying exactly the cost. However, since it changes the fee wherever it is, it's not going to be 1. Like, you have to be like waiting until it has the right fee for the right number of units you have. That's very awkward. The opponent can kill your units. It could just always have the wrong fee number. The deck that would want this is the Firesworn Swarm, where you can pay off having a bunch of units by getting a bunch of coins for it. And that deck does not need a bunch of coins, so it doesn't want this. So Boris is really stuck without a deck that wants to play him, and his effect is incredibly specific and not very useful. There's no deck that wants Boris. And if there was a deck that wanted Boris, he's very inconsistent, and the RNG can really mess you up because you don't always get what you want. I'm just going to put him in bad. Very interesting design. Very cool thematically idea. It just does not work out. Speaking of interesting design, Caesar is a kind of a cool one. So obviously here we got Caesar. He's got the 5. He gives you his deploy, gives you the profit of the adjacent units. You put him next to your guys with big profits, and specifically Jackpot, and then you get a bunch of coins back, and then you get the boost. Pretty much only in Jackpot, because you want him to hit very big profit cards, like Stigi, for example, profit 10, and then obviously you can't hold 10 coins, so you want to be in Jackpot so you can get a whole bunch of coins, turn them into points. He does have that fee 2 to spend. Like fee 2, spend 2 is pretty nice to have. It's not a good spend, but it is nice to have a way to spend coins, especially on a card that gives you a whole bunch. It's really about the deploy in Jackpot, though. And for that, I will give him a pretty good... He's a pretty good part of the Jackpot mid-range deck, where you just have, like, Beggars and stuff. Beggars, Sigi. I'll put him up here, but we're not ranking cards within the tiers. He'd be at the bottom of the good tier. Caleb is a pretty solid card. Profit 3, fee 3, gives something bounty. Bounty just wants more ways to give bounty. It's repeatable. It does have a cooldown, but it's repeatable. You give out a bounty, you kill it, he puts out another bounty. You do have to be killing something above 3 power to be getting value. As you kill something that's 3 power, you get 3 coins back. You're just net neutral. You've spent 3 coins, get 3 coins back. That's pretty neutral. But very good card to have in your deck. Just giving out more bounties is nice. Most units are above 3 power, so you're typically gaining value, and just having more ways to put up bounty is very useful. He is row locked, and like we said, not going to get that much value on his own, but once he starts going, if the opponent doesn't deal with him, just getting a bounty, killing stuff, getting a bounty, killing stuff, really just like can steamroll around. Yago, straight to top. Yago's like the king of mid-range. For each coin you spend, he gives you a coin back. mid-range jackpot specifically. It is pretty easy to spend the 9 coins in a coin bank, click jackpot, spend 9 more, and then Yago gives you 18 coins, 9 of which will turn to boost on him because you can't hold 18, and then you have 9 coins left over. So it's pretty common. Yago just plays on his own for 15 plus 9 coins, which is, if you think about it, a bit ridiculous. But you have to build up for it. You have to save your jackpot for him. You just save up the coin bank for him. He does have a fee to boost a Tide Cloak, which typically doesn't work. You're not likely to have a Tide Cloak unless you have a Flying Redanian, for example, that comes out of the graveyard or something. So usually his fee doesn't matter, but it is there. Sometimes it's clutch. But for the most part, jackpot mid-range finisher, one of the strongest finishers in the faction, because like we said, you get the 15 on him plus 9 coins, plus whatever you spent those coins on previously, which is you can spend obviously 18 coins there. So that's already a 24. So you're getting 15 points, you got 27 coins to spend. That's a big swing turn. King of swing turns, king of tempo. Finishers. Very, very good. Casimir. Good card. Good card. So he does give you the profit and then consume all of your coins. You can't save coins when you play him. Each time you go down to 0 coins, he spawns his little bomb. The bomb does 3 damage, costs 2 initially, then each turn the bomb is out. It ticks down until it costs 0. And after it costs 0, if you don't use it, it goes away. Very good, like proactive damage setup. It's like a good card. Not the most taken card, but very good in specific decks. And spending down to 0 has some synergies. I think overall he's a good card. Yeah, I think he's good. The fact that he has Veil is really nice too, because he does typically get to 10 if you have no coins when you play him. And he can get a little bit bigger if you want. Just having a guy that's 10 with Veil and spawns you a 3 damage thing isn't too bad. And if he spawns probably 2 or 3 bombs, you're pretty happy. And those bombs can be used to damage things, kill stuff. You can wait till they're 0, then they're free. And just having proactive damage setup, we've said it with a lot of cards, it's very hard for the opponent to deal with. You just have 2 bombs out you can click to do 6 damage and kill something. It's hard for them to develop scary cards. Next up, we have Cleaver. Cleaver is a phenomenal spender. When you play him, he does spawn a Shakedown, which is 3 coins and 3 points, which on the face of it does not make him sound very good. His Intimidate keyword usually is worth 2 or 3 each time you play a crime because of how many Crown Splitters are next to him. And then you pay the 4 for 6. 4 coins to spawn a 6-point Cleaver's Muscle, which will make his Intimidate 2. And usually you'll have something next to him as well. But what he's really there for is spending all of your coins very quickly in a way that gives you developed points that are wide. Most coin spenders will either damage enemy stuff, which does not develop your own board, or boost itself. There are some that boost other cards as well, but a lot of the cheap ones you tech into your decks, like Sea Jackals, will boost themselves. So having this guy as a way to spread them out, and spread them out very wide, like you're putting 6, 7 Cleaver's Muscles out, that's a lot of points and a lot of bodies that you hope they just don't Igni. But a very good coin spender. Gives you a whole bunch of points in a round where you just have coins. Often with, we'll get to Open Sesame later. With Open Sesame setups, you can click his order a whole bunch of times really quickly. And then if you just happen to have a few crimes, his Intimidate will get a bunch of points. Very good finisher, very good card. The key card in crime decks, I would say. Collusion, okay. We have to separate Collusion from Sigi here. We're going to write Collusion on its own. Collusion has a bunch of varied effects. We'll just pull it up here. Collusion came out before Sigi, but Sigi made it good. Let's go with that. So if you control a unit with a gang, which in Syndicate you probably will, Blind Eye, increase the other effects by 1, Crown Splitter, boost by 4, cut up, damage by 4, Firesworn, spawn 2, Zealots, and Tide Cloak gain coins. Ideally, you have all of these out, and then you're going to get 5 points of boost, 5 points of damage. Hitting the highest unit usually means it doesn't kill anything, it's just value. Same with the boosting lowest unit. 2 Zealots turns to 3, so you're getting 6 points here. 5, 10, that's 16, plus 5 coins. We'll call it 22, 21 if you're spending 1 for 1. That's a lot of value. That being said, without Sigi, it is pretty hard to get all these out on board. And that being said, if you're getting 4, I say if you have 4 categories, Collusion's really good. If you're at 3, I would say it's probably not. You want to have 4. So as a card, Collusion, I'm going to have to rank this card as okay without Sigi, because you always try to play it with Sigi, because he makes it much easier to set up. That being said, I think I will have to rate it in good, actually. I changed my mind. I've seen people play this without Sigi in the decks because Sigi's expensive. I think it's a good card. Yeah, I think it is a good card on its own. It's really carried by Sigi, but I think if Sigi didn't exist, I think it might still be alright. I'm just going to put it here. Candle. So, Conjurer's Candle. I will just go out and say this. This is my most underrated card upon release of any card in Gwent. When this came out, it was 6 provisions, and I didn't think it was very good because I am not very smart at playing Syndicate. I hadn't really played Syndicate. I didn't understand the power of this thing. Candle's phenomenal. It gives you Profit 4, which again is not much value, and Candle's value is not from pure value, right? 4 profit is not great. Its fee, well, 4 profit's very useful, but it's not enough on a 8 provision card. Its fee gives you 1 extra point over the coins you spend, so you get 2 for 1 initially, which is the best, then 3 for 2, 4 for 3, which is not very efficient. What matters with Candle is not its efficiency, though. What matters is that it has resilience, which means you can play it around 2, and you'll always have a way to spend your coins. And the way it spends the coins can protect your engines, it can protect your tokens, defenders, but primarily just always gives you a way to spend your coins, which means, especially from round 2 to round 3, going to round 3, you'll have a way to spend your coins, and the opponent will not want to remove this, because heat waving or barificationing this is such a low tempo play. It's 0 or negative, but it's just always gives you a way to spend coins, and that utility is what makes it so good. Count Reuven's Treasure is good. It is good. It's good in crimes. Typically, you play it and try and spawn the crime of your choice, either 4 or 5 provision, and then it just has the counter for the extra coins, and each turn the counter ticks down, gives you a coin, like a discount Novigrad in a lot of ways. And it's just a good card to have in crimes to have that trickle of coins. Sometimes you want in Forgotten Treasures for the additional trickle of coins. Decks that want a trickle of coins, Townsfolk sadly is primarily Golden Necker, and they can't run this. But otherwise, some decks just want those coins coming in each turn, and it gives you carryover on it because it does have resilience. It's almost like the Jackpot Leader in a way to store extra coins to come back for value later, but it's not top tier. I would say it is good, though. Cyrus is excellent. Cyrus is one of the best just setup cards you have. As you play Cyrus, he spawns a Congregation, which gives you 6 points of tokens. You banish a token, bring back an engine. The opponent must kill Cyrus, and you still have your engine. They must kill the next turn. So it's 2 engines in 1 turn. And if you don't kill Cyrus, Cyrus will just bring back engines, pay off cards every single turn. Obviously, he's intended to be in Firesworn, where he's extremely good. Because extra Fallen Knights is brutal. Extra Scribes is a problem. If you don't have a way to spawn guys, you can bring back the Cleric. Overall, very potent card, but he is so good, he will often see play in decks outside Firesworn, say crime decks, a mix of crime and Firesworn are just using Fallen Knights because they have Intimidate as well. Incredibly strong card. The next card we're going to get to here, you just play to make another Cyrus, so yeah, I think he goes up here. Next up, we have our Burning People. This is 6. So, good old Burning People. Where is it? I want to point something out with this card. Where is it? Ah, there it is. So, you destroy an allied unit, create and play a 4-person Firesworn unit. And then for each power of the destroyed unit, you get 1 more provision. The base Firesworn Zealot is 2. At 6, you can spawn a 6. We look at 6, tag Firesworn. Well, I guess we should clear this first. 6, tag Firesworn. Firesworn, please. Your options are Fallen Knights, Roderick, and Procession. There are exactly 3, which means you can always pick the one you want. But what really matters here is you can destroy an 8 and create Cyrus. That's what really matters. Most of the time, that's what you want to do. 8 is a pretty convenient number because you can get to it with candle boosting and get to it with a bronze that just boosts itself to 8. We'll get to when we get to the bronzes. That's pretty simple. You can also go to 10, make St. Gregory, incredibly flexible card. And Golden Necker decks in particular lets you play these cards that you normally can't run by creating them. So very good effect. And I think I'm going to put it in good, but very flexible, very fun card to play around with because sometimes you just want, say, a second Helvete or something, and you just play around with this. You get the cards you want, and it is quite fun to use. I think this card's very satisfying. Dies Irae. Oh boy. How do we rank this card? 3 damage and +1 to all Firesworn, Death Blow, +1 to everything. Typically that does not matter because you're going to play in a Firesworn based deck which is going to boost pretty much everything anyway. Sometimes you get an extra point or two, like if you Verco Tutor or something, you want a Death Blow to boost him. Has Echo. If you hit a pretty full board of Firesworn with this, you're looking at 3 damage plus, say, like 15 points of boost. That's 18. The thing with Firesworn is they have incredibly high value on a lot of stuff. It's just the opponent will not, they'll like kill your guys, so you don't typically get there. But that's a Firesworn deck problem, not necessarily a problem with Dies Irae. It is a very good finisher card, especially with the Echo. Having a finisher you can play in 2 rounds is really rare. The only other one that really comes to mind is Corrupted Flamitica with Fukusha. I'm going to leave it in good, though. I think it's a very good card. I think that Cyrus is better, and this does very much suffer in a short round, which is something I'll hold against it, because if you're hitting like 7 or 8 units, it's only 11. That's not really good enough, and often you won't like get it round 1 or 2. So you typically want to get the Echo value, but often if you're getting the Echo value, one of the 2 rounds you use it in will not be a wide round, because your opponent will try and force it out of you. You might be stuck playing a super long round 1 to like down to 10. Then in round 3, you're not going to get enough stuff out of it because you're like most of 6 card round 3 then. So I think I'm going to leave it in good. It has some weaknesses, but it's a very good finisher. Oh, is this Dire Mutated Hound? Do I actually know this card's name? I think it's Dire Mutated Hound. Pay no attention to what just happened to it. I think it's Dire Mutated Hound, right? Hey, it sure is. Dire Mutated Hound. Barricade 2. Barricade boosts self by 2. Fee 4. Gain 1 armor. This is the worst value fee in the entirety of Gwent. It is not even close. All this does is fee 4, re-enable the ability. If you play this, it'll be worth 6. Look at the provisions. This is an 8 provision card. This needs to be like 6 provisions. 6. I wouldn't even play it at 6 probably, but at 6, it would get to 6 for 6 on 1 turn, and that the opponent hits it with 2 damage, its engine is disabled. This is literally worse than Witch Apprentice. This is where it's going. Card's meme. The problem with this card will always be that this fee to re-enable the ability is so expensive, you will never re-enable the ability. Because if you pay 4 coins to get 1 armor, ignoring the fact that you're just pinging the armor off with a myriad of effects, it will take you 2 turns to get a 1-for-1 spend worth of value on this fee. 1-for-1 spending, as we've said a few times now, is not good. It is fine. It's like not what you want to do. But if you have to, you will. The 1-for-1 spending has to like protect something or get value that way for it to be really good. In order for this to be an effective fee spend, you must get 3 turns out of the barricade. That's not going to happen. It just won't happen. This card is a meme. Doadric. Okay, now, for all of these Syndicate and other faction split, like the dual faction cards, we are ranking them within the faction they're in. So we're ranking Doadric as a Syndicate card. As a Syndicate card, it is bad. It is not bad because he is a bad card. It is bad because Syndicate does not need what he offers. And if we take a look at the amount of Syndicate agents in the game, guys, please give me your guess. How many agents do you think there are in Syndicate? I'm going to guess here. I'm going to say there's 3. There's actually a lot more than 3. Now here's the problem. Which of these cards is in a deck? You're a dual faction as well, so we don't really count you. Oh, dual faction doesn't show up here effectively, does it? Anyway, how many of these cards are in a deck that wants a draw consistency? Not you. Not you, because you never played in this faction. Not you. Not you, not you, not you, not you. They don't need it. They don't need this draw consistency. Syndicate is a very consistent faction on its own, which is why it's pretty good in Devotion. It has removal and consistency, which makes a Devotion faction pretty good. It's just not for this faction. So I'm going to put Dowadric in niche. I believe this is a good ranking for the card. In specifically Syndicate, it is not good. As a card, it's fine, because of Nilfgaard likes this card. But I'm going to put it in niche, because I think it's the only fair place to put it. In this faction, you will never use it, because no deck wants it. But unless specifically you want to set up a Golden Necker combo, in which case, fine. But they don't even do that, because you've enough thinning, you don't need to. So I'm going to drop this in niche. Evelyn Gallo is pretty good. Pretty good. I think I'll put her in good. If you have no coins, getting 3 coins is incredibly efficient. Like, getting 3 coins to turn you player is already pretty solid, right? You player, while you have no coins, you get 3 coins back. Hey, look, that 3 coins is worth a decent amount. The opponent probably needs to kill her. Otherwise, you'll spend those 3 coins to get 3 more. She will carry a round if unanswered. And I will put her in good for that. Like, she's very strong. It just can be a bit awkward to spend exactly 3 coins each turn. There's certainly cards that can do it. Certainly things like the Brawler is very good at this, but it can be a bit annoying. Your opponent can kill your spender units, which makes her coins stop generating each turn. But I will say overall, good card. Horst and Ewald. Let's just grab them both and drop them both into the same tier. So the Borsordi brothers, one of them will do 2 damage, 4 if the other's in the graveyard. One will do 3 coins or 6 if the other's in the graveyard. If you add those 2 effects together, you will have the ideal value is he does 2, and then he gives you 6 coins. That is 11 with 2 damage. That doesn't really matter. Plus 6 coins. You're getting 11, 13 value with 6 coins. That is 19, maybe it's like 21 value for 14. It's pretty good. The problem is, if you draw them in the same round, you don't get either doubled up effect, and the deploy effects are not that impactful. Yes, they have fees, but their fees aren't very impactful either. They're just too weak, I think, is the issue, because they're not enough on the turn you play them. Unlike something like Unicorn Kyrenax, something like Etriel Morelga, something like Milton and his partner, you have to play them in different rounds unless the opponent deliberately kills them. The opponent has no motivation to deliberately kill these because their fees aren't very good, which just means they're not going to. So you have to play one in round 1 or 2, the other one in round 3 or 2 if you round 1. It's just, they're not good enough because that is a lot of setup that you're asking. Maybe if they have insanity orders, like a kill themselves and set up the other one, then we'd have something here, but they don't. So I think they're both weak. I think they are just not good enough. Next we have Excommunication, which is a pretty good card. Play the top card of your deck by banishing a unit. If you banish a Firesworn, you get to look at the top 3. Obviously, you want to banish tokens, so you're going to pay probably 2 points from a Firesworn token, plus these 5 provisions. Look at the top 3 of your deck and play one. That is the Order of War Council, or the Deploy of War Council, I mean. It's pretty good. Just additional consistency. Paying a token usually isn't that big a deal. Sometimes you can banish a false Siri, which is pretty funny. But overall, I would say it's a pretty solid card. It is not the best consistency card, but in decks that spawn Firesworn tokens, it's a pretty decent inclusion. I could see people moving it down to here, but I do think it's pretty good. You are not, though. This is Fabian Hale, the worst of the Hales. He's almost a good card. He's almost a good card. But if we take a look here, 6 for 7 with Intimidate, Deploy, put Bounty. It already has Bounty, gain coins equal to the base power. Now, Fabian is very good if you put out a Bounty on the opponent's big card, but can't kill it. If you play Fabian to deploy, put out Bounty, that's atrocious value. And specifically in Bounty decks, they don't play necessarily a ton of crimes. It's usually a few, but the Intimidate probably isn't going to give you a lot of engine value in those decks. It's all about the deploy, and deploying to place Bounty is terrible. Deploying to get coins equal to the Bounty unit's base power is actually pretty good, right? So it has Bounty, and you play this, and it has like 5 base power, pretty common. Just profit 5 on a 6. That's 11. If you just 1-for-1 spending, that's actually not bad. Like, actually, legitimately, if it just gives you 5 coins you play, it's not bad. The problem is, you'd be better off killing the unit with Bounty and getting the coins back that way. So the payoff for Fabian versus killing the unit is not there. I think he's just too expensive. Like, at 7, you kind of need to be planning around him when you're playing. And yes, sometimes you can get those dreams where you put Bounty on King Trum, but you're not in Jackpot, so you're limited on the amount of coins you get back from him. And just overall, it just fits awkwardly in the deck, and it's just not good enough. So I think weak is the spot for him. I think with a buff, though, he might be usable. Fallen Rayla is going to go in good. She's been buffed several times. And yeah, she's a very cool card. She's got the Profit 3, and you contribute 3 to remove poison from an allied unit, and if you do, she boosts herself by 5. It gives you an 11 for 10, and then the next 2 units the opponent plays get poisoned, and then once those 2 counters are gone, you can start using her deploy as a fee. Awesome design, super fun card, and poisoning the next 2 units your opponent plays. We mentioned with Mantis Trap and Scoia'tael that the opponent will have control over what they play, but the fact that it does 2 units, and then you can poison and kill those units, is pretty good value, especially when you have a lot of poisons, which Syndicate does, and this deck will in particular. She's a good card. I think the issue with Fallen Rayla is the Fallen Rayla deck around her, where you're doing all these poisons, you're self-poisoning to use her fee to get the value back. The deck isn't great, but she's pretty good. Farrakhan's going straight up here, tutoring out any crime and playing it. Almost all the only good special in this faction that is not a crime is actually Bank. If Bank was a special or a crime, that'd be crazy. But yeah, Farrakhan just finds what you need. And some of the cards he finds, like Novigradian Justice, he just triggers by meeting the condition for it, which is very good. And he just finds what you need, tutors out your specials. One of the most synergistic in-faction special tutors, thanks to Justice and other things like that. Overall, fantastic card. Redanian's going up here too. Thins itself out of the deck once you get to 9 coins. If you're playing Hidden Cash, you don't even need 9. But it thins itself out, and each round it's in the graveyard. It can come back if you get to that threshold, which is very useful. Carryover, self-thin. It's only 8 provisions. Very strong card, I would say. Flinders Crew. Flinders Crew requires a lot of you. You have to get to its horde payoff cutoff each round, which is very high. So the only time you're using this is in a deck that specifically wants to play this with Search Forgotten Treasures. But it is 12 points of deploy in round 3 if you've met the condition. Then all of your hordes get 1 less for each of this on the board. Since it deploys, it will spawn 3 most of the time. That makes all of your hordes 4 cheaper. You can do a lot with that, and it's actually decent tempo. The thing is, it's really Search Forgotten Treasures that makes this all good, not necessarily Flinders Crew. And the condition can be a problem because it forces you to play round 2 every game. If you don't play round 2, you won't have the horde. So you have to play round 2 every game, which is awkward a lot of the time. Although usually probably just play Novigrad and get that carrying over to round 3, ideally. That doesn't always happen, but that's what you'd want to happen. I will say this card is alright. I think Forgotten Treasure is the good card here, not necessarily Flinders Crew. I think I think Flinders Crew actually probably just needs a buff to 4. Maybe doesn't need it. I think it'd be useful for it. But yeah, we'll see. Flinders Crew has a very strong effect, but like I said, it's so much setup, and its effect doesn't win if you set it up. It sets up. It takes a lot of setup to create a card to set up your other cards. So often, if you get all this stuff set up, it's like a win more situation. But Flinders Crew it's not bad. It's just like a mandatory thing for the deck. I think I'm going to put it in here. It'd be like at the top of okay. Can I justify that? I said that if it's good, nah, I'll leave it here. Yeah, I like it here. I think it's all right. I don't think it's a card you consider things above it for. I just think it's okay. The setup is really annoying for this. I've played a lot of Forgotten Treasure decks, and the setup for Flinders Crew, making you play round 2 and stuff, it's just annoying. And at 3, it is not hard for your opponent to kill a bunch of these off once you play it. Gellert. Ooh, Gellert. Let's talk about this. I think the Flinders Crew rating I put will be controversial. But I could see this or this. Yeah. I said enough about it. Gellert, though, I'm going to put Gellert in excellent. He spends 2 for 1, which is premium, and the spending he does boosts your own units. He has immunity for the first few turns of the round if you're in a 10-card round, which is very nice. He self-poisons, which usually doesn't matter. He's very matchup specific, though. Not very. He is matchup specific, because if you're playing against something like Scoia'tael that you know, like Harmony, you know has like 5 poisons in the deck, boosting your own cards and poisoning your own cards, pretty risky. That being said, the fact that it boosts when you poison can protect your engines in most matchups. If the opponent's spending their poisons on things that you put the Gellert boost on, like you're flying Redanian or something, it's not that bad. And that it's 2 for 1, has poison synergies, protects your stuff, very good proactive play. Really like Gellert. Very, very strong, I would say. Graydon is good. Good in bounties, destroys the unit with bounty. 2/5 boosts himself by the amount of base power the unit had. Graydon's fantastic. The opponent tries to defender. Or you bounty their big card in the defender, so you can't spend to kill it. Graydon's great. If you get a bounty on a really high value target, Graydon is great. For example, say they play Griffin or something. Say they Mamuna Griffin, and then you put the bounty on Griffin. You don't always have 9 coins to spend to kill the Griffin, but you probably do have 5 coins to get the boost on Graydon, which is nice. So I think Graydon's good. Good removal card, good value, depending on the situation. And often that Tribute 5 is a way to get points on your own board from the spending to destroy and bounty. That's something they can struggle with, so Graydon's pretty good for that. He's also very good to kill a tall boosted card, which is one of the more important things we should mention before we go on to the next one. In bounty, if the opponent has, just as an example, say Azrael. Azrael ate like a Yigger, and it's like a 17-point Azrael. You don't want to spend 17 coins to put damage into it, because you're only going to get 1 back from killing it. That's where Graydon's fantastic, because you can just drop him and kill it and not worry about that. Helvide. Ooh, Helvide. So he's got that profit 4. Each time you spend 2, he spawns a token. By himself, that's 10 for 9. That also spawns tokens. Helvide at 9 is what makes Golden Necker Firesworn playable. Where we put these cards, by the way, is not a ranking of the deck. This is not a deck tier list. I'm not going to put all of the Firesworn cards in excellent tier because the Firesworn deck is not excellent. But I'm not going to put all the Firesworn cards in okay because the Firesworn deck is okay. I think that defeats the purpose of rating them. But let's just think about this for a second here. Helvide, I'm between these two. I think I'm going to put him here. Yeah, Helvide's incredibly good. It really enables Firesworn. It enables decks that don't play a lot of Firesworn cards as well to swarm. Enables entire deck in Gold Necker Firesworn. I think it's super good. Like we said, spending 1 for 1 is typically not great, but it's not 1 for 1 to make a token, because you're going to get wide payoff from it. You're going to get spawn payoff from it. So it's very good. So it develops a bunch of coins into points on your board, which is nice. So yeah, super good. Greater Brothers, going straight to meme. Okay, that's a bit wrong. I don't think Greater Brothers is actually meme. I think it's bad. So it's 11, and then it has the Expose Destroy itself. I'm pretty sure you can pay to get more armor on this, which is still better than the dire mutated bear. So if we take a look here, Greater Brothers, yeah, it's fee 2 for 2 armor. Okay. I really can't understand how bad the fee on dire mutated hound is. Fee 4, 1 armor? At least have an even thing like this so you can justify it if they put damage into it. Whatever. Anyway, Greater Brothers is really bad. There's a thing like this. What's the Skellige one? Skjal, I think, where if it takes 5, it dies. Greater Brothers, I legitimately think has potential. I legitimately think this card has potential because if it's big enough that paying the 2 fee gives you a really big statted guy, that it's not that bad. But you really need this fee too, because at 5 armor, it's going to take like a boiling oil or something and just die. And then you haven't gotten value. I think, and besides, the Insanity, by the way, bypasses armor. So you can Insanity like get down to 9 to get the 7 armor, which makes it hard to kill. But I mean, fee 2, you don't want to use this for armor. I think this card would have to be 13 base power. And still died of 5. What this was 6 provisions. Then you trade down a provision if they hit it with a 5 damage special. It was 6 and I paid 2 fee, I'd have 9. No, it's in bad. It needs like 2 buffs. I'm trying to argue if it needs 1 buff or 2. I think it needs 2. It's in bad. Hammond. It's a pirate with bleeding synergy. Pirate synergies don't care. Skellige does not care. Or Skellige cares. Syndicate does not care about pirate synergies. There's like nothing that, well, I guess Tidecloak Hideaway is technically a pirate payoff, but you're not going to play this in here. The movement is actually something that you can already do in the faction with Payroll Specialist at 4. So if you did want a movement card, this is not even the one you'd play. I'm going to also put this in niche. I think it's fair to put these dual faction cards in niche because I think if they're down here, the cards I'd want to see buffed. And I don't think these need to be buffed. They just don't fit this faction. You know what, actually? This is what we'll do. If you're playing these cards in this faction, you're memeing. There we go. Gord is pretty interesting. I'm going to say Gord. Ooh, tough one. Specifically crime decks that play a lot of crimes like having Gord as a finisher. I think he's better in Syndicate, or better in Scoia'tael than Syndicate, but still good. Usually you have better payoffs, though, like the Cleaver. I've seen him cut from a lot of crime decks. I'm going to leave him in good. I don't think he quite makes the top tier in this faction, but he's very strong as a finisher if you're playing a deck with a lot of specials, which often you are, and things like Shady Vendors, things like the Count Revenge Treasure do create crimes, which are additional specials. So I think I'll put him in good. I think I'll put him in good because I haven't seen him played that much in crimes recently. Vitir and Elidia, they're a good engine. For 6, they do 2 damage immediately, assuming you have the Horde. The Horde 5, it's 5, I believe, is pretty hard to reach, but it's actually worth it because they get a bunch of value. Since the Horde's pretty high, they're mostly limited just to hidden cash decks. You can play or hidden cash and jackpot where you're storing a lot of coins, or the Horde is easier. But it's a good card in those decks. Yeah, it's good. Ignatius is an excellent card. 17 for 9 is a very high value amount. It is, well, he starts at 1. If you're going to play Tatterwing, you're going to, in Syndicate, you're going to play it with Ignatius because he actually turns into another finisher. But he heals himself whenever you destroy something with Bounty by the unit's power, base power, I believe. And that's very trivial to get him back to 17. You will be getting him back to 17 every time you're playing Bounty, and it's a big Bounty card, and I think that makes him excellent as the standard Bounty finisher. Very big, very good. Igor the Hook. Okay. Insanity 5, spawn a copy of one of your bronzes. Insanity Fee 5. Now, that is so expensive, but there are some bronzes it is worth copying. Things like Firesworn Scribe if you're doing a Swarm Lonely Champion deck. Things like Townsfolk. If you're just going to spam Seductresses, it can work. That being said, I think this card is very, very specific, and I'm going to put it in niche. Maybe. We'll think about that for a minute here. I'm just looking at this tier list, so I think this is a niche card. Yes, I do. I think that's put it in niche. The issue I have with this is I think the decks that play Igor are better without Igor. I think playing the versions without Igor are better most of the time. But if you want to play a fun deck that spawns a lot of guys, Igor does do that. I just think the Fee 5 is so expensive. I think you get it once, then you pay the insanity, and then he's like dead. So I think it's a niche card. MK. 2 coins a turn on a 9 provision ranged row locked card. That's, I mean, if we think about it, from a 9 provision card, we probably want this to go off 3 times, minimum. That's fairly reasonable. It's fairly reasonable. The problem is, you can also give this a shield if you want to spend coins. The problem I have with MK is why would I play this when I could just play Evelyn and get 3 a turn on a 7 version card, assuming I'm spending easier? The answer is my deck can't easily spend odd numbers of coins. Like, I can't easily spend 3. MK, the best deck for MK, where she actually works pretty darn well, is Forgotten Treasures, because those extra coins each turn really help, and she's a Tide Cloak. The problem with that is she's expensive, and that deck has some very expensive cards. It needs to play Forgotten Treasures, it needs to play Novigrad, and it needs to play an option to win round 1 so you can get to that round 3. That means she's too expensive to fit in the deck. So I'm going to leave her here. Actually, move her down. She's just too expensive. There's better coin generations that are more consistent, and there's also better coin generations that are cheaper. So I'm going to put her here. We've talked about this card a few times. Search for Forgotten Treasures. On the face of it, kind of looks like a meme scenario. You spawn your Gudrun, you infuse a couple times, and they kill the Gudrun, and then it doesn't do anything. Except it does. Forgotten Treasures, I think, is one of the most underrated scenarios in the game, along with Ragnarok. So Forgotten Treasures. Progress when you play Tide Cloak. Prologue is Gudrun. Gudrun has the 4/4 with 1 armor, infuses enemy units with her big old horde. And then when you gain coins, the infused units take a damage. You probably infuse 2 or 3 guys on the turn you player, depending on how many coins you have, depending if you have a leader charge, depending if you like some other way to get coins, depending if Flinder's crew's out, all that good stuff. Chapter 1 here, Horde 8, refill your coins. Now, this is where Flinder's crew matters. If there's no Flinder's crew, this is Horde 6. And Horde 6 gives you 3 coins per turn if you keep a 6 coin total. That's all right. 3 coins is a decent amount, but with Flinder's crew, this goes from 8 to 6 to 2. That is a lot of coins. Like 7 coins a turn, that's pretty much just game over. And then Chapter 2, damage the highest power enemy by the number of coins you have. Typically, this will actually hit for 9 coins and actually maybe kill something, but you don't really have that much control over it. But Forgotten Treasures, you don't need the Gudrun to survive for it to be good, because as long as you're hoarding and getting the coins each turn, it's very good value. That being said, I don't think I put this in top tier, but it's a good scenario. It's very good. The problem with it is you have to build the deck around it, and you need the Flinder's crew. If you don't have Flinder's crew, this card falls off quite a bit, which is why I'm just going to put Flinder's crew down here. It's really carried by the effect on this, I think. Next up, how this card has fallen off. How we've fallen, and I just forgot her name because I was thinking about Forgotten Treasures too much. Ixora. Ixora's really fallen off. I think Ixora's okay. So, Vice 8 destroys the lowest power enemy unit. Vice 8 means you spend 8 coins. She used to be 8 for 8, and then she was everywhere. The issue with Ixera is that a lot of things in the decks that want her have gotten more expensive, which means it's harder to fit her in those decks, and she's lost power down to 6. At 6, it's much more reasonable to have her killed the next turn. And if she just destroys one lowest powered enemy, that's usually not enough value. Usually have to hit 2. The only time this really works is the opponent opens a big card and you have like a Conjurer's Candle out and some Bleeder charges, and you can just play Ixera, boost her with the candle, which is again on candle here, and it's the fact that you spent the coin, she kills something big. Now, she can absolutely make crazy highlights and just feel oppressive if the opponent has a ton of things like so they got a what's it called? The Freak Show, and they can damage your smallest cards and kill them, so only the biggest things left, then she kills it. I think there's generally better stuff, and I think because of how hard it is to fit her in those decks nowadays, that she's only okay. But I can get to see this being controversial. Jacques is good. Pretty good. He plays 12 for 12. You're not going to play him Form 1. Why do I have the Form 2 version here? Oh, it's because usually you see Form 2, actually. Form 2 or 3. But yeah, he's Profit 4. You spend the 4 to get 6 points worth of stuff. You don't have to spend on his tribute if you need the coins for something else, but usually you will. And his last form is Devotion. You play a Firesworn card or whatever, you get a coin. It's just good value on something that can then spend coins. It is 1-for-1 spending. But in Firesworn, it's nice to have a guy that can make a couple more dudes sometimes, although he's not not always played in those decks because he does have a lot of upper range expensive cards. And I think he's just a solid card if you want to put him in, need something to spend those last 4 coins for King of Beggars or something. Yeah, I think it's just a pretty decent card overall. King of Beggars. I'm going to say King of Beggars is probably the King of Syndicate. Probably King of Syndicate. So, 12 counters. When you spend a tribute, he refunds the coins until he's out of counters. He sums himself out of the deck and gives you a 1-for-1 spender. King of Beggars, 12 coins means that typically those 12 coins, as we've said, usually you can treat it'll be at least 1-for-1, but up to sometimes 2-for-1, like 1.5, something like that. We're going to say if he gives you 12 coins back, it's probably 15 points worth of value. Now, why is he so incredible? There are 2 reasons. One, keeping your coins early is much better than getting the coins off of cards. Because if I get my 9 coins once, or my 8 coins once or something, and I've used my tributes and I have King of Beggars, I don't need to play more profit cards. I will have the coins until I run out King of Beggars. That is fantastic for round 1 tempo, round 2 tempo, maintaining board presence, and just staying ahead of the opponent. The coins themselves have a carryover mechanic, so even if you don't spend them all, you'll get a bit of carryover. And the last thing is he gives you a coin spender on demand from your last tribute, which is very important because, as we talked about with Candle, being able to control when you are able to spend coins and having a way that lets you always spend coins is very valuable. So the fact that he gives you coins early, the fact that you a lot of coins, and the fact that he comes out of the deck and lets you spend are all fantastic, and he is an incredibly powerful card. Next up, we have Kurt, who is good. The other 6 Persian Purify card that just kind of kicks Adalbertus to the curb. So ranged Purify, melee bounty. Now, we said this with a lot of the 6-for-6 cards, is that they're not as good as the 4 Persian Purify cards, unless the upside is good. So, for example, in monsters, being able to bleed with Queen of the Night is nice because there's some good synergies and value. Being able to bounty with Kurt is very useful. In bounty decks, you can remove a a veil that's in the way of giving out bounties. Think about Carapace because that's always what happens there. But if you, even in a non-bounty deck, you have a lot of damage often in Syndicate, and sometimes you can bounty something if you don't need the Purify and get 4 or 5 points of value back off of him. So very good card, I would say. Von Hurst is pretty good. Not incredible. The condition of needing a cleric can be annoying sometimes, but spawning a dude every turn, it does add up. And then him having the fee is also kind of nice. We're going to pull up more of the Syndicate cards than the other factions just because I don't think people see them as much. So yeah, if you have a cleric, you spawn a zealot. And then you speed to transform the zealot. It is a 1-for-1 spend, unless there's damage involved, in which case the armor comes into effect. But really, you need him to go off a bunch of times for him to get true value. But just spawning more dudes is really nice for the Firesworn deck. So he's pretty good in Firesworn. The issue is it takes a while. It takes a while, and you do need a cleric. And the clerics are often going to be targeted by opponent's removal. I think there's probably better stuff than Von Hurst, but he's not bad. I will do this. I think I like that. He's not bad. He's not bad. Guys, when you're making fun of me in the comments here, just remember this is my least played faction. Try my best here. Ludovicius is also not good. So, after 3 turns, you get 9 coins. You can tribute 5, I believe, to get the coins right away. If you get the coins right away by tributing 5, you're turning 5 coins into 9, which is profit 4 conditional on having Horde 5. That is not good. That is not good. The other issue I have with this is a timer, so you can't even get Caesar value from it. Yeah, tribute 5, get the 9 coins immediately instead. He is just too expensive. Just too expensive. Having to wait 3 turns on a 5-power card, think about how often Ciri Dash lives if you don't protect her with like a defender or something. It's about that amount of likelihood that he survives. So I think he's just not enough value. I will put him down in bad. Just too expensive. I think he needs to be buffed. I don't know if is he as bad as these? Yeah, I'm gonna put him down in bad. Okay, now we have a fun one. Madam. So she has order your next tribute is free, and you can pay 3 to give her zeal. You have to hit a big tribute. Your next tribute is free, I mean. You have to hit a big tribute. And it is this round, so you can't use it for carryover. The Intimidate on her usually doesn't matter. And you really have to pay the tribute most of the time. You're going to pay the tribute. If you don't play the tribute, she's going to die and or get locked and you're going to feel really, really bad. So you have to pay your tribute. If you're paying her tribute, you're getting 6 points and losing 9 coins to at best make a 9 coin tribute free. That'd be Savala. If you spend 9 coins, she's effectively giving you 6 because you zealed her. She can give you 6 coins on a tribute. Yeah, that's not good. That's not good. There's a far better way of getting those coins. It's King of Beggars. So here's the issue. I guess we should explain a little bit more here. The issue is if you're spending 3 coins on her zeal to make something free, if you even make a 9 coin tribute free, you're only actually saving 6 coins. If you're saving 6 coins, she's going to be a 6 that gives you 6 coins for 9. That's not even that good. Like, that's not even that good. You can get a whole bunch of coins off of a pickpocket, and that's like 6 provisions. Yeah, she is too expensive. Other Madam though, Madam Serenity, top tier. Profit 4, then tribute 8. You pull out. Well, you don't have to pay the tribute, but you always will unless you bricked your hand. You pull out a Pastoral Peaches or a Sly Seductress, depending on which row you play her in. Then the tribute brings out both. You want to bring out both. That is 3 engines in 1 card. And then your King of Beggars for funds to coins. You're sitting there with the Horde. You're sitting there with your jackpot. The Horde, as in the effect on the Peaches, not the actual units. But very, very strong. Anyone's played against this knows if they just drop this turn 1, say they get Tiger's Eye, they drop this, they pull out the 2 cards, and you can't kill the Serenity. Well, you're looking at 3 engines there. Some of them worth 1 or more a turn. 1 or more. They're all worth 1 or more. And then you're just like, well, that's 3 engines. They will win this round. And that is exactly what a lot of Syndicate decks want and why she's so strong. Mercenary Contract. I'm putting okay. Contract. Card's been buffed a couple times. Profit 5. Spend your coins and play a unit from your deck up to the number of coins spent. Obviously, if you have no coins, you can play a 5 provision unit just by itself. Very specific decks want this. And I don't think it's necessarily a bad effect. But I don't think it's a commonly used effect. The main things that come to mind here are like Bounty with their 5 version spenders, or like Firesworn with Firesworn Knight being a 6, or other decks that want to use this. Those decks don't typically play this, but this is usually found in like niche off-meta decks that want to find specific bronzes. I do think it is probably still going to go in the weak tier. I think it still probably goes in the weak tier because it spends all of your coins, which means, yeah, you can use this as 2 Route 9 version cards, like in a Golden Echo deck or something, for example. But the fact you spend all your coins means you're often going to overpay for the cards you tutor. So I think I'm going to put it in weak still, but it's not unusable. I think it's the best of the weak cards here. More Eels. 8 with 4 damage. We can compare that to like Mullane or something. Obviously, it looks pretty similar, but it's all about the tribute. Tribute 6, destroy a unit. Now, Tribute 6, destroy versus 8 value. If you're going to destroy a unit, you could have hit it for 8 value somewhere else, right? You don't get the 4 damage anymore. Which means if you're going to tribute 6 coins on this, you're also giving up 4 damage, which means in total, you are going to give up 4 points and 6 coins. We'll say that you're giving up about 10, well, that's minimum 10. Say like 12 value, ideally, is what you get from that spending. You're giving up 12 value. You have to hit something very impactful. That being said, in Devotion, having a way to just straight up destroy a unit, as we've seen from Vilgefortz before, very useful. Being able to just destroy something with minimal setup, although having 6 coins is something of a setup, but King of Beggars makes it a lot easier, which is probably in your deck if you're playing more Eels. Very good. I just think this is a very good card. I'm not going to put it in top tier because Tribute 6 is actually pretty darn expensive and you give up the 4 damage. So it's pretty costly unless the opponent unit you're hitting is very tall. Often it will be very tall. So I think it's very good, but it isn't like people don't play the faction. If you play this without King of Beggars, it's very expensive. You certainly feel it. Even with King of Beggars, you feel the tribute on this a lot. So I think it's a good card. I wouldn't say it's a top tier card. I don't want to talk about this card. We talked about this card in Northern Realms. Nathaniel. When you boost him, he puts 2 bleeding on a random enemy unit. There is less bleeding synergy in Syndicate than there was in Northern Realms, because Northern Realms has War Chariot. And has ping engines that can kill things if they take a damage. It does. You can use something like Blacksmith to just put your coins into boosting this. Technically, you're getting 3 for 1 spending if you do that, right? Technically, you're getting 3 for 1 spending if you spend 1 coin to boost this and get 2 value out of bleeding. But this card always puts the bleeding on the same enemy unit for some stupid reason. It always just hits the same unit. I've played this card way more than I should. And the value is just not there because you get to wait 2 opponents' turns. It's so bad. It is so bad. When I said King of Beggars was the King of Syndicate, was the other card I was considering. But it is not a unit, so we're going to go with King of Beggars as a king. Novigrad is just pure value and carryover. Pure value carryover. Carryover is one of the strongest mechanics in the entire game. Novigrad gives you coin carryover, which doubles up with the leader, or with the, not leader, all leaders have it, the coin passive effect. You play Novigrad at the start of a round. If it's a 10 card round, Novigrad will give you 13 coins over the turns it is active, plus it will give you its profit, which is 3, and it gives you the 1 coin here. So ignoring the order, you're going to get probably 13 coins from this. Probably, you know what? Probably you're going to get all 16. Probably get all 16. We'll just say 13 to 16 coins is pretty common from this. 13 to 16 coins is a lot of value. A lot of value. Plus it is carryover coins. Plus you have the order to create a bronze gang unit. Now this effect can really swing games because there are multiple bronze gang units that have poison. So you can make a poison card with this, then combo with a fistic or something out of hand to destroy a unit. There are scenarios that want a specific faction. You can try and make them off of this to proc a stage of the scenario immediately. A lot of the gang units have fee. You can click this to try and make a fee card. Very, very good order. On the face of it, it looks like it's just like an RNG thing, but no, this actually is really good. And it's carryover. This is like a War Council plus level of carryover, right? Because you're getting a unit, which is probably better than a battle preparation, plus all the coins. Novigrad is actually a ridiculous card, and it's phenomenally strong. Cleaver's, or Novigradian Justice, is good. It's good. It gives tempo, and it finds you Crown Splitter Dwarf. The card you want is typically both of those in Bare Knuckle Brawler. And you can just grab this with Fairco, and Fairco will meet the condition for having a Dwarf or Crown Splitter because he's also both. And you just get to play a Dwarf out of your deck. It's good. Very good. Very good tempo card. Mainly used in crimes. Can be fit into other decks like Collusion Gang sometimes. Other Golden Necker decks might want to play this for value. It's just pretty good. It's good. I wouldn't say it's top tier, but it's very strong. Next up, we have Octavia Hale. I'm also this is good. She tutors the other, well, I guess her sons to your hand, and then you put cards back. The cards you tutor are your finishers, so she can tutor 2 finishers at once. Why am I not putting her in the excellent tier? It's because I think the finishers get the value more than her, and you don't always need her, because Syndicate is a pretty consistent faction that in Bounty, I think you can usually find at least one of them already. And she is delayed, right? Like, you don't play the cards you tutor with her, which does make her worse than just something like a bank. If you play her, you put the cards you want to play in your hand, they have to wait a turn to play them. That is a lower tempo play. Yes, here's a fee, which can be pretty useful, actually. If you destroy a unit, it's 3 for 2, which is pretty nice. So I think she's good. I think the fact you have to wait on her tutor makes her significantly worse, though. But she can find 2 cards. And by significantly worse, I just mean she's going from top tier to good tier. So I think good makes sense for her. Passiflora. This is weird. Passiflora is a good card because it can win you around, but usually Passiflora is best not in a Passiflora deck, which is really funny to me. Passiflora is best in a Forgotten Treasures deck, in my opinion. If you're playing towards Passiflora, it itself is often not as round winning as some of the other scenarios. You get 2 engines off of it, which is nice. You get some coins, but that's it. What you want to do is stack a bunch of engines with this to win a round. I think Madame Serenity does it better, but if you're going to play a Passiflora deck, you're going to use her as well. So either what you'll do is play Serenity plus Passiflora, in which case I think Serenity is stronger, or you play Passiflora plus Forgotten Treasures. We're just trying to use this to win an early round. It's a good scenario. It's a good scenario. It's only 13 provisions for scenario, which is on the cheaper end, and it is good. I just don't think it deserves to be in top tier. And I think this is better. Funnily enough, they're just pretty much always played together, which is amusing to me. Philippa is good. She recently got nerfed. Used to be 3 power. She seizes an enemy unit up to the number of coins you have. So she's effectively letting you spend 2 for 1 on your coins because you spend 9 coins, grab a 9, that's 18 points of swing. That's good on its own. The issue is she's a 9 version card that's 2 power. So say you seize for 9, you're getting 20 value on a 9. That is good, but you paid those 9 coins. So you're not actually getting 20 value, you're getting 20 swing, but you paid 9 for it. So it's more like you're paying like say like 12. Like those 9 coins would have been something else, right? So even though it plays for a big swing, it's more so about the seize than the value. But that being said, seizing is one of the strongest mechanics because your opponent loses access to their stuff, and she is pretty good because of that. I would say she's good. But the pure value isn't as high just because of her base power and the provisions you're spending to do this. But so like for the coins, like you're basically getting 9 value because we'll say 9 value if you're spending the 2 for 1 over a 1 for 1. So her value is not that high, especially if you consider those coins could have been like spent on like a Sea Jack or something where the 9 coins would have been like worth 11 points or something like that. It's more about the seizing, and seizing is very good. And often you're not going to seize that high of a power unit, so it's really about denying your opponent something, which I think she's good at. Ooh, Pickpocket is weak. Yeah, Pickpocket's weak. I don't even think it makes it okay because it does give you a lot of coins, and it is only 6 provisions. But 8 for 6, on the face of it, if we say these 8 coins are worth 10 points, 10 for 6 is good. The problem is you often can't hold 8 more coins. Yeah, you often can't hold 8 more coins. And if you use this as an opener, a lot of the cards you want to spend with will then over profit after playing this. Like they'll have like profit 2 or 3, then spend coins, and then you're losing out on coins. And if you don't, and you already have the coin spenders out, well, it just doesn't fit very well in the decks. Yes, it's a blind eyes card. You can play it off of stuff like Sigi or something, but yeah, I think it's just pretty weak overall. Next up, your Procession of Penance, which is okay. 13 for 6, good value. Damage himself by 2, well, by 10, and then 2 less for each Firesworn you have. Firesworn token you have, I should say. It's alright. It's a decent point slam card in a deck that plays wide and might want a point slam card. The other point slam finishers are better. DS E-Ray's better. Gregory's better. The order on Sacred Flame is better for that deck specifically because it goes wide. But it's not bad to have as an option to drop in a round, or maybe you played like 2 Congregates or something. It's alright. Professor. Ooh, Professor. How the mighty have fallen, then risen again. Professor is 7 for 11, deals bounty plus 4 damage. If you hit a 4 power unit with that, you're getting 15 value, maybe 16 depending on how you value the coins, which is pretty good as a mid-range card with some removal. Tribute ignoring armor is extremely useful sometimes, but as we've said many times in these tier list videos, power creep on 4 provision engines has boosted many of them to 5, so he can often not kill an engine anymore the turn you play him. Sometimes he can, especially combo with something else. But overall, I think he's a solid mid-range option. I just think the other mid-range options are typically a bit better. So I'm going to put him in okay. I will say he's not a bad card, but I think he's not your first choice for your deck. Sometimes you have 11 provisions left, and this is like a card you might want to put in. It's a mid-range value, especially if you have like a little bit of bounty synergy, maybe a little bit of like a decent amount of damage. You're like, well, I could use Professor, even if they, like maybe I already have like some poisons and stuff. Maybe I could just use this because he'll probably purify a poison so his bounty doesn't get removed. But that's the issue with him in non-bounty decks, is that they will often have a purify, but since you have a lot of poisons in Syndicate, typically they'll purify a poison and then his bounty will stick. Kind of the same deal with Kurt, right? If you're playing Kurt and for bounty, often they'll purify poisons because most Syndicate decks run poison, And then you can say, well, I can just use the Kurt, and then the bounty will stick. Same deal here. Well, I think it's an okay card. Worth considering. Yeah, worth considering. Put this down here. As we said in some of the other tier lists, meme cards are cards that have some design issue that are unplayable other than for fun, or they're down here because they have some design problem. It means they're never going to be playable. These have the design problem of being in other factions, so they cannot be played, cannot be buffed to be put in this faction. So I think this makes sense. Pugo, actually, you know what? This is the monsters one. Pugo, the only time, so Pugo's 11 for 7, and he does damage your own cards. Yeah, he's 12 for 7. That's what I thought. I thought he was 12 now. Do I have the other one on here? Looks like I do not. I probably forgot to drag it from the monsters tier list into this one. 1 second, guys. I will go fix that. All right, so Pugo, 12 for 7. Got the right image here. Pugo has very little synergies. Now, monsters can spawn like Arrakis tokens. Monsters can summon him out of deck because he's a 7 with Penitent. Not that you see that happen very much. Has Ogroid synergy because he's big. Not really any synergies here in Syndicate. The only one that really counts here is Flying Redanian, because if you have Flying Redanian, you can hit it with the Pugo and the Flying Redanian will come back. And then he's playing for 12. But I don't think he's worth running in this faction. There are other cards that have better synergies with Flying Redanian, and Flying Redanian is a prime removal target from Squirrel or Graveyard removal, or Seas, so often you can't count on having it, which means he really needs other synergies. Now, there are some shields, right? You got Cleaver's Muscle, Cleaver can spawn. You can get more armor on things. You can have the shield on the Seductresses. But I don't really think Pugo's ever going to be playable in Syndicate, to be honest. Yeah, I don't think he's going to. Yeah, you can hit token. The problem with tokens here is the Firesworn tokens are 2 power. So it's not as good as hitting like a Fruits of Yizgith token or something. It's worse. Yeah, I think this is fine. Same for this. Rico has exactly 1 use, which is with Rient, and that's not in this faction. So Roderick. Roderick's okay. Like kind of like Von Hurst. He gives you a coin each turn, and then you can use his order to spawn a Firesworn guy. He stops with you coins then. The thing is, Firesworn doesn't really need coin generation, so it's a bit awkward. It doesn't really fit in the deck. And then if he's not in Firesworn, he doesn't really have a use. That's 1 coin per turn, like obviously Evelyn's better. You've Tax Collected for 1 coin a turn as well. If you just want it as an engine, you don't really need him. You know, I'm actually going to knock him down here. Yeah, I think that makes more sense. Yeah, he's worse than Von Hurst. I think he deserves to be down here. There's not really a reason to play him. The only thing you make him is sometimes he's the best choice from a triple fire card here. Yeah. Roland. Same tier as Geller, I would say. 2 coins each time you poison. Adds up pretty fast if you're playing a poison deck. And if you're playing a salamander deck, I mean, we've all seen Roland go to 50, 100 points, right? We've all seen it. So Roland is one of those cards, if you don't answer him, you will probably lose. And he's a 6 for 7, which is pretty cheap for one of those type of cards. So very good. You can often get him the coins right away the turn you play him too. If you have Geller out, you have a Failed Experiment out, you have a Salamander Hideout out, you can usually trigger him right away. And specifically in Jackpot, that'll often make him go above the 6 power and very hard to get rid of. Typically, the opponent has to Heatwave him, which is not efficient for them. I think he's excellent. Not even in Salamander as well. Just any deck that's playing Gellert plus Roland, and there's a lot of decks that play Gellert plus Roland are they're very strong. Sacred Flame is pretty good. It spawns 2 Zealots, which is some good Firesworn synergies. The order boosts everything by 1. I still don't really understand why this card came out without Resilience when all the other locations got Resilience. I thought this would be like the equivalent of the Witcher location for the faction. Maybe Resilience was too good on this, but I mean, Firesworn's not very good. But yeah, the order boosts all your guys by 1, all your Firesworn guys by 1. It's pretty nice. Good value at the end of the round. It's also pretty nice because you can play this and click the order in combination with your DSA Ray or something as a finisher, right? You can play this earlier. It spawns guys to build up towards this, and you hit this and this in the same turn, and then you've got a big swing. I think it's pretty good. Gregory. I guess we should specify evolving versus transforming cards because I sometimes mix those up, not in game, but like wording wise when making these. Transforming card. Gregory is incredibly powerful, but he's a bit weird in that his first form is actually kind of better. So if we look at, it depends. If we look at Gregory, boost self by 1 for each unit you control, and gain a card for each Firesworn card you control. Now, typically, you're going to have like 15, you're aiming to have like 12 or 15 units. That doesn't only happen. So he'll boost himself to like 17 and give you 9 coins. Wow, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Actually, I do think the second form is probably a bit better, but both forms are very good, which is not common for these transforming cards. I guess it is common now that I think about it. Yeah, Torres, Dana. No, I guess it is common enough. But yeah, first form's incredibly powerful, but you really want him in second form just because you want your big expensive cards to be played in decisive round, not round 1. But still, the evolved form, he gives you those, he does the damage, and then he has Berserk, and if he kills himself, it's 2 for 1 spending, as in the bad version of 2 for 1, where you get 1 damage and do 2 to yourself. But when he kills himself, you get to boost all your guys by 1, which is pretty good, and he does damage, equal number of units in your row. The second form is really good too, just fantastic payoff card to Firesworn. Really big impact. Really big. I think he's excellent. Again, we're not ranking the deck. The Firesworn deck itself, as a deck, has issues. But I would say these cards are, in a vacuum, just very, very strong. Salamander. How do we rank this card? So, Salamander decks. The decks that play Salamander twice, typically in one turn via Golden Necker, or you play Salamander and destroy it and then renew it. You destroy it the turn you play it with a hideout order, so the opponent can't remove it on board, assuming they've already used their graveyard banish. Yes, Salamander decks are a meme. Yeah, Salamander decks are a meme. So, that's true. The thing is, I don't think Salamander's a meme card. I think Salamander's actually like a pretty decent card in decks that aren't double playing it, because you can poison all the opponents you use once and drop the Salamander, and still get a bunch of roll-in points. You can just play it in a Fallen Rayla deck and remove the poisons on yourself. And I think this card's actually not a meme card. I think it has legitimate potential in non-meme decks. I'm putting it here. I think niche makes the most sense for that. Hideout is good. Hideout's good. You can make a failed experiment which gives you another poison, and then it has the order to move a poison from a unit to a different unit. Typically, what you're going to do is you're going to move a poison from one of your guys to an enemy unit and give it another poison from your hand on the next card you play, so you can destroy it in one turn, which is nice. Has resilience, which is nice. You can make a field experiment, which, not field experiment, the abomination. If you want something that purifies itself, if you're playing a Salamander deck, you don't want to kill all your own stuff. That's pretty good. But yeah, overall, pretty good. The flexibility here is actually really nice too, to make the purify, the lackey, sometimes pretty useful too. But yeah, mostly good for the poison transference. You know, guys, I lied. This card, we have more Syndicate cards than the other factions. Huh, who knew? Because of the dual faction ones, that's why. Saul is a good engine. If you have a jackpot deck, if you have a what's it called? Hidden cash deck, 3 a turn is very solid. It does require you to keep a high number of coins, but those decks want to do that, and it gets you a bunch of points. It's pretty good. Savile is okay. The tribute to spawn a 12-power Frightener is rather costly. It's rather costly, but it is the only tribute 9, I believe. So I think Tin Boy's 8. Yeah, Tin Boy's 8. But yeah, it's 18. He does give you 2 coins, so it's 18 value plus the 2 coins for 9. So you're basically you're spending overall 7 coins. 8 provisions, 7 coins for 18. It's only good if it's your finisher and it's how you want to spend your last coins. And I think there's better ways to do that. I think it's okay. Sigi. Sigi plays, well, he has an expensive, no, he is Tribute 9 also, isn't he? Yeah, he's Tribute 9. And then you play him, you pay his tribute, 2 less for each gang category you control. Typically, you'll try and control at least 3 categories. Sometimes you get away with them free tribute on him. Play 2 cards from your deck with gangs. One of them can also be collusion or gang cards. I guess it's been long enough. No. I revealed this card, for those who don't know, a long time ago when the expansions were coming out. And I don't think I'm supposed to say this, but it's been so long that I still won't. There's something behind the scenes of the development of this that I won't say. It wasn't always play collusion plus gang cards. It was slightly different, but I won't say what it is. Please don't ask. I won't say it. But yeah, originally, just out of confidence, I don't think I'm supposed to. Anyway, Sigi is really good. You play a gang card. Typically, you're going to play like Bloody Good Friends that has 2 gangs on it to really enable the collusion. You can play whatever gang you're missing to enable the collusion. He'll pull out King of Beggars as well most of the time, which gives you a blind die. Plus, you can grab the Bloody Good Friends, which is 2 more categories. That's 3. And then collusion hits very, very hard. It's a huge swing turn. And you can set up certain combos with him too. Phenomenal card. That's Mastermind Sigi. Regular Sigi is pretty good. Mainly used in jackpot decks where you have 6 gangs. You trigger hit. You play him 10 coins from him as the ceiling. You get 1 as a boost. Typically, if you have no coins, you're going to get more than that most of the time. But more of the coins will be boost, most of the time in jackpot. But typically, you play him 14 for 10 is good. And then you want to Caesar him to double up. So I think he's good. Sir Skewertooth is alright. You want to pay the immunity, and then it's 2 per crime, which is not amazing, but it does add up. I think he's an alright inclusion. Not the best inclusion, but not the worst. You can play him in crime decks as a proactive play, because those decks do often lack proactive plays. Sucrose, down here. Does not work on Insanity, the blocking of damage, because if the Insanity does not do damage, the effect doesn't work. Means he has no use here, and this is where he is going to go. Tamara is alright. She goes in the Witch Hunter decks, aka the Bounty decks. You pay her tribute to boost everything in your deck, and the deck's the important part. For carryover, I think she's fine. The issue is there's a lot of 6 version cards you want to play in Bounty. And there's a lot of expensive cards, so it's kind of hard to find space for her. But she's worth considering. She can do a pretty good job of boosting your deck there, and it's not too bad. Yeah, I would consider her an alright card. Tatterwing Syndicate. Ooh boy. Is it unplayable? No, you can do it. It's a meme though. I think Tatterwing Syndicate's a meme. Tatterwing Monsters though. Oh, that's a different story. But Syndicate has enough low power cards and enough synergy. You can technically play Tatterwing Syndicate. It's just not very good. So I'm putting it down here. Tavern Brawl is such a cool effect. Right? You make 2 units dual. It's cool. The problem with Tavern Brawl is if we take a look here, I'm just going to highlight it. Adjacent unit. That makes it really rough. It makes it really rough. I'm going to put it in pretty weak here. Yeah. No, I'm going to knock it down to bad. The adjacent part hurts so much. If I wanted to do this, I would just play Red Haze, the bomb. And that's 4 provisions. Yes, it damages it by the power instead of dueling, but it's functionally often the same thing. And has bomb synergies, and it's 4 provisions. Brute is excellent, I think. I think Brute is up there with Ignatius as your bounty finisher. So it gives you coins equal to the number of bounty units you've killed and boosts himself up power of the biggest bounty unit you killed. In some matchups, for example, Ogroids, we've recorded an Ogroid video already. It'll come out some point this month. I don't know if that game's in it. I think it might have been a warm-up game. But no, it's definitely in it. We got our King Trum killed with a bounty on it, and they dropped a 24 point 24 point brute. Yeah, 24 point brute. Ooh boy. Yeah, we still won that somehow. But anyway. Yeah. At minimum, brute will typically play for 11 by boosting himself with a 5 minimum, and then he'll often get 9 coins. 11 with 9 coins is pretty good. The ceiling on him is even higher though. 8 or 9 isn't too uncommon to get on his boost. And then the fact you just play him and Ignatius, they're basically two big finishers in the same round. And then you can use his points to kill stuff with bounty. The big thing is though, the boost on himself lets you have two big finishers, which means often the opponent can't remove them both. And that's where bounty will often win a short round 3. So very good card. Sausage Maker is okay. Just as a card itself, it's okay. It does give itself the profit, so it's a 6 resilience. The thing is, we talked about that with Gabor. Gabor is an engine. Sausage Maker is kind of like She Who Knows, where it can carry itself over from round 1 to 2, then 2 to 3. Where Sausage Maker is specifically used is to infuse it with the Tide Cloak lady, Treasure Huntress, and then have that coin, make it a coin generating engine that carries over. Specifically in Townsfolk decks. Now, I think that he's still weak though. Like that's a niche use. I was debating between going like this and this, but I still think he's weak. I think he's too expensive for what he does. Like, sure, he gives himself the 3 coins the first time he uses effect, but you have to pay the second time to actually get the coins. And he really only works if you're also paying to infuse him, and then you're doubling up effects on a card your opponent wants to remove anyway, which is pretty awkward. Plus, it doubles up the purify value, so I think he's expensive, too expensive. Scoundrel's good bounty card. Pulling out a specific bronze to your opponent's deck can brick them if they're playing hyper thin, if they're playing exactly towards a combo. Often that doesn't matter. Usually you're just going to pull out their best bronze. Something like Nausicaa Sergeant doesn't get value, but very good card. It does spend for bounty as well. It's a tall bounty killer, so unlike the bronze ones, where against bounty, if you kill their bounty spenders, the things that do damage, bounty really struggles. This guy's really tall. It's hard to do without using a tall punish, and then you can't tall punish these two. So it's a rough decision. I think it's a good card. Witchfinder. Let's go here. Yeah, Witchfinder is really good. She's better than Caleb because you don't pay for each effect, and she gives you 3 coins on board immediately you can spend. But the coins she gives you are actually like little coin cards, which means you can click on them and use them when you want to, which also means she doesn't over profit ever, and you can save those when you need them. Plus, she has bounty every turn. Yes, it's the highest unit, but typically you want to bounty the highest unit anyway. It only becomes a problem if they veil the highest power unit, which is typically done with Carapace. But other than that, she will give you a lot of value, and the opponent really needs to deal with her. Otherwise, you're just going to get out of control of the bountying. So I think she's really strong. Tin Boy's bad. His deploy is Lacerate, right? You do 2 damage to everything on a row. That's Lacerate. It's a 6 provision bronze. If you tribute 8, by the way, 8, he does it to both rows. If you tribute 8, you must hit 4 units for it to break even on 1-for-1 spending. You really actually need it to hit 5 units for the second row because you're aiming to not do 1-for-1 spending. You're aiming to do like a little bit better. So let's say he has to hit 5 units in one row. The other row he's hitting must have more units in it for that to have made sense to pay the tribute. That means the opponent must have, at absolute minimum, 5 units melee and 5 units ranged. If they have that, you are paying 8 coins total to do 20 damage on a 4-point body. Does that sound good to you? It might. It might. But remember, those 8 coins are probably worth like 10 points. So you're giving up those 10 points on something else. So you're really paying 10 of the 24 value you got there, like 10 of it would have been good on something else. So if they have 5 units on both rows, you're probably getting a 14 for 10 approximate value. Yeah, that's not even that good. Tin Boy's only good against something like Arrakis Swarm that super fills all the rows. It's just not worth it. He's way too expensive. He's too expensive. Tunnel Drill's good. Tunnel Drill's good. Yeah, it's a good card. The fact that it's 3 damage on its spend for 2 means it's a good value spender while also doing damage, which is really nice. The cooldown 1, and this card used to not have cooldown 1. Man. Anyway, at least I don't think I had cooldown 1. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you could play this off of Sigi with something and just go blow everything up. But anyway, very strong card. The fact that you can re-enable the cooldown by playing a crime is also really nice. Right, if this lives a turn, you can do 6 damage a turn with it if you're holding crimes. That just means you're killing all the engines. So it's often, if it's an engine deck, the opponent has to deal with it. Otherwise, you're just getting value. I actually think this belongs to be up here. On deploy, it's 8 for 7, because you're going to spend the 2 coins it gives you for 3. So it deploys 8 for 7. 3 of which is damage, and then it threatens to be a damage engine every turn. I think it's really good. Ulrich is alright. The fact that it's Devotion, spawning a copy, means you're pretty much exclusively using this for Fallen Knight and sometimes Firesworn Scribe and Devotion with a Congregation. I personally find non-Devotion Congregation better, but that's not really the issue here. I think it's a fine card. I will put it in good, I think. Just because getting extra Fallen Knights is really good for both Firesworn Crimes, which I think is better than Firesworn regular by a notable margin, and it's pretty good there. So yeah, extra Fallen Knights is really nice. I think I'll give it good. Bank, we have 2 banks, both at 9, because it's been changed so many times. So I'm just gonna remove it. Let's go here, real quick here, grab one of the banks, grab the second one. I probably wrote one in as Vivaldi Bank and one as Bank, so they showed up not next to each other, which is why I missed it when I was going through the cards here. And let's just grab that, remove from the tier list. There we go. Perfect. Moving on. Leave that in there. You guys can see some real-time editing. Oh boy. This is Walter, right? Do I actually? Yeah, this is Walter. Quick test here. Do I know this card's name? It's Walter. Yeah, Walter. I I said the runestones weren't meme. Walter is a meme. It's 4 for 8 to create and play a Bronze Syndicate card. If this was a 5 version crime like the runestones, actually probably would be playable. Maybe. Because it's any bronze card. It could play a second crime, basically, for crime synergies. You make this, and then make a crime. As it is, this is a meme card, and it's going to stay a meme forever. As a meme, though, it's a good one if you play this. I'll shout you out if you do it. Wheel of Pain. Yep, that's going down here, too. I have been known to play Wheel of Pain from time to time, actually. Super fun card. Super fun. Get a lot of emotes out of people. So Wheel of Pain. 0 damage, and at the end of your turn, changes the value between 1 and 10. The issue I have with Wheel of Pain is it's always 0 damage, turn 1. If the opponent plays an engine, it would actually be kind of nice if Wheel of Pain could just have 7 damage on it and punish them at the start of your turn. But you can't even play this card turn 1. That's my biggest problem with Wheel of Fortune. It's Wheel of Fortune, not Wheel of Pain. Sorry, Wheel of Pain's Conan, whatever. But yeah, Wheel of Fortune. The fact that on your first turn going second, this does 0, I hate so much. It's a fun card, though. Yeah, it's a fun card. If you're going to actually get 10 damage, it's actually just good value. At 9, it's okay value. But really, you want to save this to hit an engine. And yeah, it's so inconsistent. It's a meme card, but it's a fun meme card. I really wish that this let you do damage turn 1 instead of this, though. It should be at the end of turn makes sense for later in the game because you know that you can see it when your opponent plays something kind of plan you're going to use it. But at the start of turn, you could adjust. Yeah, I don't know. I wish it was start of turn. Junior, excellent card. Removal. Can kill something from 9. Really good devotion payoff. Yeah, it can kill something from 9 because it hits a 6 damage. You can insanity kill it. And the fact you get extra coins if you hit something pretty small, like say they have a 3 power engine you want to deal with, you get 3 coins back. That's nice. The fact that you can use it to kill a bunch of tokens is very relevant in some matchups. And the fact that you can play this and just leave it there, then ping engines down to 3 with like random crimes or something, and then use him to kill them is also nice. Very good card. Senior, on the other hand, Senior needs a specific deck to work. You have to pay a tribute to transform things into cut up lackeys, I think they are. And that's typically 2 Firesworn tokens. I think Senior's okay. I think he has places, but I think there's usually better stuff than him. But he does have decks where he works pretty well in. I don't think I want to put him in weak because getting the 2 bonded guys is actually a good effect. And it is a tribute, but it's only like a 3 tribute, so it's not that expensive. The issue is having the deck form, right? Because you typically will transform 2 Firesworn tokens, which will up their values by 3. And then you paid 3 coins to get 12 for 8. So you paid 3 coins, but you get 12 points. Like, that's not bad. It's just, it's hard to find a deck for him to work in, but I think he's an alright consideration. And then Freak Show, I'm going to say good. I think Tunnel Drill is better than Freak Show in a value sense by a mile, because this comes down as 8 for 7, this comes down as 6 for 8. But Freak Show can be used multiple times in a turn, which will let you kill stuff. That being said, it's a very inefficient way to spend coins. It's inefficient if you're not killing engines. If you're killing engines, it's efficient though. Flexibility. How often do I see this card? I think Tunnel Drill's better for value reasons, but I think this card's flexibility will let me put it up here. I think Freak Show's good. No, I think it's here. Tunnel Drill is really scary. Freak Show just spends the coins, and then it's harder to kill additional things. This is by no means saying Freak Show's a bad card if I put it here, by the way. It's very good. I think I'm going to go here. Tunnel Drill is just such a threat. Maybe I'm overrating Tunnel Drill, but we'll see. And that should be all the golds here. Yep, and let's move on to the Syndicate bronzes. I said this would be short. Turns out it was short because there were less cards, so I forgot to count when I added the bronzes. So that was a mistake. There are a lot of cards in this faction. Let's go. Deckhand is really bad. I've tried to play Deckhand. Deckhand's just not good. Vice 3 boost by 1. Do you know what's alright is a 1-for-1 4 provision engine, right? 1 point per turn, 4-for-4 engine is okay. They're like playable, right? This is not a 1-for-1 turn engine. It's a profit 1. This card's terrible. Vice 3 on this? No. It gives you 1 coin. I don't care. It's bad. Oh, Arena and Draga. Oh boy. Guys, what is up with these cards? So I'm going to open up Arena and Draga here, because I'm willing to bet a whole bunch that half of you guys have never even seen this card and forgot it exists. Any of you guys who watch this far and know Arena and Draga exists and what it does before I click on it, comment, please. I would love to know. Gains coins equal to the amount units damaged. Gain coins equal to the amount allied units damaged. If this didn't say allied unit, it'd be better. But I mean, Syndicate. The idea makes sense, right? You're playing Insanity. You Insanity down your cards. You play Arena and Draga, and you get coins back for the Insanity. The problem is the Insanity cards aren't good. And if they're good cards, it's not because of the Insanity. Junior's like the only one. Look. Insanity 1. We'll just do this here. Do it this way. Okay, perfect. Insanity 3. Most you get back is 3 coins. Most you get back is 1 coin. This one, technically, you can hit it down to 1, but then it would die because your opponent would get rid of it. Yeah. I'm going to Insanity this down to 1 and get myself 15 armor, and then Adrena and Draga. Yep, sure. Igor. If you ever Insanity Igor, he's instantly dying at 1 power. Never gonna live. There's nothing to use this card on. There's nothing to use it on. I'm like ranting because I hate this thing so much. It's a meme. There's nothing to use it on. Now, granted, you don't have to use it on an Insanity card. But what else do you have that's going to be damaged? Are you playing Tatterwing Syndicate with 1 power Ignatius and click Arena Andregas on it in Jackpot? If any of you ever do that, please contact me via the official email for the channel I have in the channel description on YouTube with a clip of it. Please do. I will post it on the channel. If you ever do that, please let me know. I will post the video of it and credit you if you can do that. But oh boy, yeah, you can do that. You can Tatterwing this at 1 and then play Arena and Dragas in Jackpot and play them for, what is that, like 20 points each. If you do it, please let me know. I would love to see it. But no, this is a meme. It's a meme. Adrena Ghoul is pretty bad. It's bad. So Ghoul has hope though. Ghoul I have potential for, and I recently considered putting 1 Arena Ghoul in my deck specifically because I had 11 out of the 12 tributes for King of Beggars and a 4 provision slot left. And I still couldn't make myself do it. And it worked with Portal, which was also in the deck. But I think Arena Ghoul at 8 base power would be a decent card, actually. It would work well with Portal. Whenever we always see when there's an 8 base power card, Portal sees a lot of play. Think of like Fiend. And at 8, paying 1 for his tribute to stop it from killing itself, which it does, by the way. It kills itself. You don't pay a coin. Yeah, it would be a 7 for 4 decent value then if you paid it. And if you had off the books, you pay 1 less for tributes, it would be free. Now, that doesn't mean it'd be good because there are a lot of other cards that have good value with a decent value with a 1 tribute that off the books still doesn't play. But I think this card has hope to be buffed and be usable. What is this? This is Assault, right? Assault's okay. Four damage, 6 if you have 2 Salamandras. It's alright. It's like Gutting Slash, but instead of damaging enemies, you develop your units. This actually works really well with the clowns. But there's a decent number of Syndicate units that are Salamander you might develop on your board. I think this is okay. Yeah, I think it's alright. I think it's not the best choice, but sometimes you might stick 1 of it in your deck. Back Alley Chemist. I like this card. So Zeal Order. Poison an allied unit and boost it by 2. That's 7 for 4. You are poisoning yourself. You need some synergies there, but there are synergies. I think it's alright. Works pretty well with Portal, actually. Portaling this is pretty good if you're playing a Rayla deck. Brawler's excellent. Intimidate, 1-for-1 spending, but if you are going first in particular and develop coins, you can then Brawler and kill the opponent's units, like kill their engines while they're developing them. And then your crimes will give you more coins, which will boost him, and then you can kill more stuff. Very strong engine as a removal card, and very good just to punish your opponent when you go first. So I think it's an excellent card. Beggar is pretty good. It's good in jackpot decks in particular because you have the bondage, right? You get the it's 3 coins then 5, right? I'm not making that up. It was changed from 2 and 4. Yeah, it was changed from 3 to 5. You'd think I'd remember these things, guys. We've been recording this video for like 3 hours, so kind of hard to remember everything. So yeah, Beggar, it's good. 4 with 3 coins is actually just decent value on its own. And then the profit, we get 5. It's really nice. So I think this card's actually pretty good. It's held back by Syndicate having a lot of 4s. Syndicate has a lot of phenomenal 4-person cards that fit in almost every deck. So it's hard to fit cards in that are just good unless you have some specific synergies. For example, Caesar in a jackpot deck. But Beggar's pretty good. Okay, let's put that down there. Blind Eye Apothecary. There was a time this card was nerfed because people thought it was too good. Once again, I will show you guys this card because I'm pretty sure none of you remember it. Actually, some of you do remember this one probably from what was nerfed. So deploy melee heal. Okay, healing is often going to be capped at 3 value, I would say. And deploy ranged, boost by 4, tribute 0. Tribute 0? That's not what it is. Combine both. I believe it's tribute 3. I believe it's tribute 3. Combine both abilities. It's rarely going to be worth paying the tribute because that's expensive, which means you're just stuck with the boost 4 as value. Unless, again, you're going to play Tatterwing with this and heal like a Greater Brothers or something. But yeah, it's meme. Bloody Good Friends is very good. 6 for 5. You get the double gain category on it's actually the most important part, right? It's a Crown Splitter and a Cut Up because they're both together, which is fantastic for gangs because it triggers the pulling the strings easier and it triggers Sigi easier, it triggers collusion easier. All very important things. While being at 6, which is something that's rather annoying to deal with. Plus, it's just going to have the option of knocking your opponent's boosted cards down into removal range for things like a Junior or whatever. So overall, good card. Bloody Good Fun, also a good card. A little awkward to use, but it does give you access to up to 9 removal. It does profit 4, then you damage equal number of coins you have. Not many 4-person cards have reach above 6 damage with conditions. This does. You can reach up to 9. That being said, you are spending your coins to do it, but I still think it's a good card. It's a good old crime there. Giving you flexibility, especially on something like off the books where you just click a leader and then boom, you can do 6 removal or 2 leaders. Not usually used in that deck, but it's actually a pretty solid removal, I would say. But the thing that's going to hold it back is that there's better removal in Syndicate, which is Poison, and that's going to make this fall down a tier. So I think it's all right. It's not a bad card, it's just overshadowed, I think, which is kind of what this tier is for. Casino Bouncers are quite good. I rated these wrong last time I made this tier list, and you know what? I'm putting them up here. Last time I rated these cards badly, because I was unaware and had not practiced them after they were buffed. These were originally 4. At 5 power now, they actually make a lot more sense. 5 for 5, you pull the number out of your deck is a 9-point play because the Insanity is better than spending a coin, so you often open with this. Thinning your deck is good. Playing 9 tempo is good. And they're just really good. If you want to thin your deck, they're fantastic. Cleaver's Muscle is a meme, unless you're playing it off of Cleaver himself. So yeah, that's going down there. This guy's okay. Cleric guy. He does give you profit, and you contribute to spawn a... He spawns a Zealot, not even a regular token. Or he spawns a, the soldier, not a Zealot, right? This is Firesworn Cleric. I think his name's just Cleric. Cleric of the Flaming Rose, that's what it is. Yeah, he spawns a Zealot and he can transform into Footman. Okay, that's right. This card's okay as a one-of sometimes in a Firesworn deck. It's okay as a one-of sometimes. You'd really rather not, though. I'm gonna give it weak. You'd really rather not. Profit 3 is actually not that bad, but Beggar is Profit 3. Tribute Spawn a Zealot is nice synergy on paper, and the fee can be useful. Usually, you don't have enough extra coins to really use the fee most of the time. I would say this card is weak at the moment. Maybe at 4 it would be played, though. Blacksmith is pretty good. 5 for 5 with profit 2 coins. The really nice thing about Blacksmith is his spending, though, because he can spend, and he's a Crown Splitter, so you can get him off of Noble Justice, which can be really useful as an alternative to getting a Brawler out, depending on what you want to do. But he's a good option for spending coins because he does 1-for-1 boosting, which, like we said, 1-for-1 spending is not the best, but you can protect engines with him, much like you would a Candle. And I just think he's a pretty solid card overall. He might go on the top of the OK tier because I think a lot of times you're only going to play one of him. But I would just put him up here, I think, because I think he's better than the other ones in that tier. Actually, you know what? We should probably put these in... Yeah, never mind. They are in order. Perfect. What's this called? Confession Extractor. This is okay as well. Getting 4 coins on it is fine. Getting 3 pings on the next things your opponent bounties. They take 1... The next 3 things your opponent plays that get bounty take a ping damage. It's 7 for 4 baseline value. It's fine. It's actually better because when you hit things with bounty, you often, well, not often, you want to kill them. So pinging them by one with this means you need less damage to get there, which is kind of nice. But I think there's other choices that are better, but it's all right. Congregate's pretty good, though. Spawn 2 Zealots, 3 if you control a Firesworn card in that row. So always play it on the row with your Firesworn cards. Don't play Cyrus, then play this in the other row. You'll be really sad. But very good synergy. Works fantastically with any Fallen Knight deck. Yeah, it's also a crime. That's why you can mix Firesworn and crime so effectively. Stuff like that. And overall, just a solid card. Courier's going down here. We don't need this consistency here. This is a card I really want to like. Card I really want to like. 3 damage with Intimidate. Quick quiz here. What's this card's name? Guys don't remember? Me neither. Crown Splitter Thug. That's it. All right. I'll pretend I knew that. I did not. Forgot. Crown Splitter Thug. 3 with 3 damage and Intimidate. It's almost there. It is almost there. Almost there. At 4 provisions, 3 damage. Reminds you a lot of the Dwarven Skirmisher. But it has Intimidate instead of a second 3 damage order with a couple extra points. It's almost there. I think that at 4, this card might be usable. So we're going to put it in weak. Put it in weak. At a 4 provision card, it might be something you consider. It says Intimidate on 3 damage order. Yeah, I really would like to see this card get buffed. I want to try it out. Cut Up Lackey. I believe that's what you're called. I'll just double check because I don't want to say something wrong. Goodness knows we've never done that. Yep, Lackey. 1 damage, you play a crime, bonded 2. Works best with the junior, or senior, I mean. I'll put them in the same tier. Yeah, put them in the same tier. It's alright. You're going to play them in the same deck, just have extra copies, but they're alright. Usually better choices. You can play a deck with Portal to pull these out, and then also play this, and overwhelm the opponent with random damage. Could be fun. Dip in the Pontar. 3 damage, 3 coins. It's okay value. You're going to play this in a lined pockets deck, so you get a 4th coin off of it. And then 3 damage, 4 coins sounds a lot better. It's an alright option as a 4 provision crime if you want to fit another one in there. But overall, not spectacular, but it's not unplayable. Eavesdrop. Put this up here too. Profit 5. Put a card from your hand back in your deck and draw a card. Cycles your deck by 1. I don't even remember. I think this puts on the bottom, actually. I think it puts on the bottom. I haven't used this card in a long time. Yeah, it moves to the bottom. To draw, move to the bottom. 5 profit on 4 is not that bad. Cycling your hand is not that bad. Overall, just not that bad of a card. Usually you'd rather run something else, but if you have 4 version slot and your deck doesn't have as much consistency as you want, it's not a bad choice. Cleric here. This guy's good. Profit 2. You can use this order right away, so it's 5 for 4 with 1 extra coin, typically. As a 4 version card, that's pretty good. 2 for 1 spending is excellent. It is a cooldown 1, but it has excellent synergies with Firestorm by spawning more guys. It has just a good fee for using things to just get value off your coins. Overall, it's a good card. The only thing holding it back from being in top tier is the fact that it's 3. 3 is super easy to remove. Other Cleric here. Destroy an allied Firestorm token. Boost himself by 4, then after 2 turns, summon it back. This guy goes to 8 power right away, which means you can just kill it with this to create a Cyrus, which is really nice. It's not the best bronze, though. Like, it technically is 8 for 4 once the thing it destroyed comes back. Which is nice. That's good. That's definitely good. The thing is, like we've said many times, there's a lot of really good 4 version cards, especially in Firestorm Swarm. There's a lot of 4 version competition. But I think this card's probably, I would say, good still. You can play it in that deck and have some success with it. To give the 4 versions we're talking about here. This is the one, is the Firestorm Cleric, right? This one's Cleric. Oh, it's Eternal Fire Cleric. Okay. Messed up our category search there. Hold on. Yeah, Eternal Fire. Oh, this one's Priest. That one was Cleric. And Inquisitor. Disciple. Okay. Well, guys, we said the name slightly wrong. I apologize. But this one's Priest. 1 point each time you spawn one or more units. It's like a discount Fallen Knight, as in it's cheaper and not as good. Sometimes a discount Fallen Knight's what you want in your Firesworn deck. I would say it's probably alright. I think there's better engines. Fallen Knight and Scribe are better. But it's not bad. I'll still give it a good. And Firesworn's pretty good. Eventide Plunder is excellent, though. Create a 4 Persian unit with a fee. This is really nice because you're getting a card that can theoretically spend coins. Some of the fees are not going to be able to spend all your coins at once. Sometimes you're going to get done really badly by seeing all the bad cards, but usually you're going to find something that's pretty good. Usually you're going to find something that's pretty good. And the fact that this is a crime that creates a unit works really well with Line Pockets in particular. Works really well with other decks as well. Things like Collusion Gangs, you can use this to find a gang you're missing. Overall, just a really good card. It's so flexible. So flexible. Failed Experiment's also good. Really good in Poison decks. I think the other Poison package cards are better, which is why we might see them up a tier. But this is still a good card. 6, it poisons itself, so it is vulnerable to other decks that have poisons. And you have to pay 4 to poison with it, which is a bit rough. But just having more poisons is often good enough. It's really good in decks that just want to spam a lot of poisons. Maybe I'll move it down here, but I do think it's actually good enough to be in this tier. Fallen Knight. Okay, let's just go this up here. Fallen Knight. Incredibly powerful. This card has been changed several times for silly reasons. So was it 5 for 5 at some point? 5 for 5 on a Veil Intimidate engine that's double boost because it spawns every... Oh my goodness. 5 for 5 Fallen Knight was ridiculous. But anyway, right now, Fallen Knight is still a very good card. It is the premium Firesworn payoff card. It is the reason you can play Fallen Knight's Crimes without the Firesworn package. Not full Firesworn, I should say. And it's really good. It's a phenomenal engine. Often this thing's getting like 4 points a turn. And it has Veil, so it can't be poisoned. It makes it really hard to deal with. You can bring it back several ways too. Overall, it's super strong. You guys know this at this point, though. Next, we have Fence. Fence is okay. It gets vitality equal to your coins. You contribute to boost by the amount instead. No, it's not okay. It's weak. The tribute's just too expensive. Isn't it tribute 3? Yeah, it's tribute 3. Yeah. Nah. It's too expensive. I think it needs a base power. Scribe, though, is quite good. I think Fallen Knight's better, but you can make decks with Scribe to go like infinite Lonely Champion spam. Not infinite, but like you Hellveed fill a rope each turn with 2 Scribes out, and then you just consume it with Lonely Champion and do it again. So you can do that. I think it's a very good card. 1 coin each time you spawn a unit. Adds up pretty quick. Coins are slightly more valuable than points. And the fact that you can do this specifically with Hellveed. So you spawn cards with Hellveed. Instead of costing 2, it basically costs 1, or if you have 2, it's free. Really good. Adds up, gives you coins in the deck. The opponent kind of has to deal with this and Fallen Knight, which makes it hard. Okay, let's put these 2 cards together, because I think they go together. Fistic Trafficker and Fistic. So Fistic is profit 4, poison a unit. Getting 4 coins is very good, because it lets you enable things that have like tribute 8, like Madame Serenity. It gives you good value as well, because the poison is really nice. Of all the cards that give poison on a 4 provision, I think this is the best one, because 4 coins is worth more than like 4 power on something like the Agents and Nilfgaard. And then Fistic Trafficker gives you a poison, but has the flexibility of poisoning yourself for 3 coins. Often You might actually do that, because getting 3 coins is sometimes really useful. Just together, these make a very cheap, very effective bronze package. Lets you remove tall cards and get really good value. So I think these two belong in the top tier. Halfling Safecracker is okay. Boosting yourself by 1 for each crime in your hand is fine. It's fine, but usually you have better choices. Like, you'd rather have these be your 4 provision crimes in your crime deck, I think, most of the time. This is not Purge. This is the good one, Hysteria. Hysteria is pretty good. Bounty likes Hysteria. It's 3 damage plus Bounty. That's pretty nice. If the unit's already bounty, it does 6 damage, so that's really good. If you don't have a way to kill a bounty unit in your hand, you can just Hysteria it for 6. So conditional 6 damage bronzes are typically pretty decent, and I think this one is also pretty good. It has really good synergies, and I think it is worthy of this tier. Keeper of the Flame, I believe. Yeah, Keeper of the Flame is not very good. So there's a lot of competition, as we've said, for bronzes and Firesworn. This one, it's too expensive. The tribute is too expensive, I mean. But you cannot use this without the tribute. Isn't it 4? Yeah, tribute 4. So deploy boost adjacent units by 1. 6 or 5, atrocious, especially when the 6 is conditional having 2 units next to it. Boost all units in a row by 1. That can be good. So here's the thing. Yes, the tribute can cost less, right? It can cost less. It's not going to be tribute 0, though. It's going to be like tribute 2 or 3, probably. Boost all units in a row by 1. It's just not good enough. It's just not good enough. It's just not good enough, which is what a weak tier is for. It's just not quite good enough. Maybe at 4 would be a tech option for Firesworn, but they have enough payoffs. The issue with Firesworn is getting enough tokens. You don't need another payoff like this. You need more ways to get tokens when the opponent starts killing them. This card's up in the air, so Kikimor Worker has two specific synergies. One is you can destroy Flying Redanian, and if Flying Redanian will come back, you can click it with this again. So this destroys an allied unit and spawns a copy of itself. You can destroy this, it'll come back and get value, or you can use it on low power units, the main ones being Ferko and the Firesworn tokens. Now, I think this card is pretty bad in this faction. I don't think it's hopeless, unlike all the other cards down here. Flying Redanian Kikimor Worker used to be a thing briefly upon Syndicate's release, but I don't really see it having enough value with Firesworn. It's 2 a turn, and it's 5 provisions. No, there's no way. It goes down here. Yeah, it's hopeless. Yeah, in monsters, not necessarily, but I think here, since it's 5, it's not going to happen. Same for this card. Well, we're being harsh here. Am I being harsh? Or are these cards actually... No, most of these are just not... most of these are dual factions, but this is not the faction for them. Which is so weird. Of all the dual faction cards, hardly any of them are playable in Syndicate. It's so weird. This is why I feel like they didn't need the dual factions. Like, none of these actually make sense when put in both factions. Not you. You're not dual faction, but yeah. Anyway. Next up, we have our good old Prophet 7. This is often the worst card you can see off of create options. Where'd it go? Come on. Line of Credit. Guys, the honest here, I completely forgot this card's name, and I hope you don't blame me. Destroy an allied unit or artifact and gain 7 coins. Now, yes, you can destroy Flying Redanian. Yes, You can do what I did once, and one time, this card was key for me because I created this off of a shady vendor intentionally and destroyed a false Siri. That's the only time I've ever seen this card be good. And it's RNG. That was not guaranteed to get the line of credit there, but it was hilarious when it happened. That being said, you don't play this. Destroying your artifacts is terrible. You don't really. A lot of your artifacts in this faction you're going to play have resilience. You don't want to do this because they have value over time, like Candle or Novigrad. Destroying an allied unit is not worth 7 coins. And if you just want 7 coins that badly, just play a scapegoat. Just play a scapegoat or like a pickpocket or something. This is a meme card. Little Bird. Ooh, I highly value Little Bird. I'm giving her an excellent. So Little Bird is one of those incredibly powerful engines for a deck. In this case, Collusion Gangs. In Collusion Gangs, Little Bird's order is often fee 2 plus 5. And that is one of the best spendings you're going to find in the entire game. And that makes her very premium to remove. She also infuses herself with a gain category, which is the one you're missing on your board. So that's phenomenal. Overall, incredibly good engine. Definitely deserves to be up here. All right, next up we have Lonely Champion. Had to get some water there real quick. Lonely Champion's pretty good. It enables the infinite spam decks because not infinite, but close to it. You get a whole bunch of Helvede out with the scribes. Consume them with Lonely Champion. Turns the points into points on him. He's immune. Cooldown 1. The nice about Lonely Champion is it turns a wide board into a tall immune unit if you need to do so. I think it's good specifically for its deck. But outside of that deck, it is pretty niche. Very limited. I'll leave it in good because of the Lonely Champion deck. I think Scribe's what makes it good, though. You know, I'm putting it here. I think Scribe's what makes it good. I think this is a niche card. Yeah, I think niche makes sense for this. You're not going to play it unless you need it for exactly enabling more points on your Scribe spamming with Helvede. Yeah, I'm putting it here. Magpie. Ooh, Magpie mainly used with townsfolk because you create all those coins, click the coins, and each one you click triggers your townsfolk one time. Overall, pretty decent for that. Townsfolk deck's not the most popular though. It's not the strongest either. I think I'm gonna put Magpie in okay. Yeah, I think it's alright. I wouldn't go out of my way to play it. Is it good in townsfolk? It kind of is. I think I will go with this. Yeah, I think it is this. It's pretty important townsfolk. Next up, we have Mutant Killer. This card, guys. This card. So, Mutant Killer. Boost self by 1 for each poisoned unit on the battlefield. Quick, guys. What's wrong with this? If you're poisoning a bunch of units, they're not dying. We want to be poisoning the same unit twice so it dies. That's the problem. That's the problem. This is not good. It is not good. You can make it work with Salamander, but why wouldn't you just play the Salamander again? Yeah, it doesn't really have a place. Technically, it works with Gellert, but there's much better things to do. This is a meme. It's a meme. Well, a lot of memes here. Mutant itself, though, is actually pretty good. So, Mutant, it's 4 with a counter. When it's poisoned, it spawns a copy of itself. If you spawn 1 copy, it's 8 for 4. Very potentially good. I really like playing Portal with Mutant and with Mutant and the Back Alley Chemist. I think that's pretty fun. But Mutant's just really good with Gellert too. Like you have Gellert out, it's immune. You play Mutant, boom, poison it. The opponent really needs to deal with it. I think it's good. I think Mutant's good for poison decks, self-poison in particular. I also think this is a good card. Along the same lines of Bloody Good Friends, like this is just dual gain category with 3 coins. 4 for 3 coins is pretty good value. You're going to play Devotion anyway in this deck, and we kind of have to play this, but the fact that it's two game categories and they're different from these two means you can go this into this, and then you're pulling the strings is at 5 if you leader, which is really good. So I think good inclusion gangs. Mutated Hounds. This is Mutant Speaker, by the way. Should have said its name. Mutated Hounds is a pretty decent poison option. The issue with Hounds is that I have the wrong picture. It is 6 power. Yeah, it is 6 power. I will probably just quickly rectify that. I got the right Mutated Hounds picture here. 6 for 5 with poison's a fairly good tempo. One of the issues you can have with poison is if you play a poison card like Fistic or Fistic Trafficker, if you're trying to force the opponent to do something and they're pushing on you, it's fairly low tempo until second poison comes out. The extra power on Mutated Hound's pretty nice, but I would say that the 4 version package is much better. Not much better, it's better. I would say Hound is now actually an okay card. I would say it was weak previously. But going to 6 power, I think that makes it alright, because if you play it melee for the non-poison effect, 2 bleeding on a 6 power card, that's 8 value. That's like pretty mediocrely okay. That's a great statement. But yeah, I think this card's fine. I think it's fine. I think you'd rather play other stuff, but it's not a bad inclusion. If you have, in particular, a 5 version slot just left over in your deck, consider throwing a Hound in if you have the poison package. Okay, let's go put the best bronze in the faction at the top. Open Sesame is nuts. So you get 5 coins, and then once you spend to 0 6 times, you get 4. 9 coins for 5 is probably 12 value. And 4 of it's carryover. 4 of the coins are carryover. This card's insane. Actually insane. There's a reason this card gets nerfed a lot. But this card is completely insane. Best bronze in the faction. 4 coins of carryover is ridiculously good. The fact that it just gives you 9 total coins is incredible too. Oxenfurt Guard is pretty good. It's been nerfed a few times. It used to be 4 provision, and then it was 4 power, and blah blah blah. It's been changed a couple times. Overall, it's a pretty decent way to spend your coins, because you can go 2 for 1. Because if you spend to 0, it boosts by 2 instead of 1. It boosts the adjacent units. So you fee 2, boost adjacent units by 1. If it spends to 0, you boost by 2 instead. Good synergy with stuff with like line pockets, off the books. Overall, pretty good coin spender. The issue with it is at 5 provisions, you have to make a fair commitment to put this in your deck and try and get value out of it. And if you're spending on this, you really want to spend to 0 like 4 times to get enough value off of it. Which can be a bit rough. I think it's okay. I wouldn't blame you for putting it up here, but I think it's okay now. I think 3 power with the condition on its fee, and yes, you're getting 2 for 1 spending, but remember, you need that 2 for 1 spending to make up for it being a 3 for 5 card. So I think overall it's okay. Oxenfurt, not Scholar. This is the other Oxenfurt guy. The one you never want to see off of, actually it's not true. Sometimes it's fine off of Eventide. Because it does give vitality to an ally, right? You can use this to spend your coins all in one turn if you need to. It's naturalist. So yeah, 3, profit 2, fee 1, give you vitality. It can be a 1 for 1 spender. It gives you 2 coins. It's really bad. It's really bad. I don't know where it went on the tier list. It's not staying there though. Yeah, it's just bad. Peaches is very good. Not very good. It's good. 1 for 1 point a turn engine we said before is pretty good. The horde condition's not hard to. The horde condition's pretty not hard to meet. I almost said the wrong thing there for these guys. But yeah, the condition's not hard to meet. It's nice you can thin them out with stuff like Serenity. It has good synergies with specifically not off the books, Ten Cash. Overall, pretty decent card. Carried hard by Madame Serenity though. Payday is alright. 5 for 5 is a pretty common stat line on a card. The overkill giving you coins is nice. The fact it's a crime and synergizes with stuff like line pockets is nice. It would be better if there was less removal in Syndicate, because Syndicate usually doesn't need a 5 for 5 removal. That being said, it's not a bad card. It can be a pretty decent one of in decks that have 5 versions left. A crime deck, for example, with 5 lefts might want this. If you're playing poisons with 5 lefts, 5 left, I'd play a Hound. If you're playing a crime-based deck, you have 5 left. Payday's a pretty decent option. Payroll Specialist is not great. Yeah, it's 5 for 4 with Tribute 1, move a unit. Now, I really wish this card had Intimidate on it, because it sure looks like and seems like it should, but it does not have one. So it's Tribute 1, move a unit. Remember, this Tribute 1 is probably slightly worse than this being a 4 for 4. It was like the neutral card. So it's not good. Yeah, it's weak. Same deal for Pearl Diver. Pearl Diver has potential. Pearl Diver has potential legitimately. It's timer 3 gets 6 coins. The value is there. The value is there. It's the timer 3 that's the problem, and that's 4 power. I legitimately don't think this card could this card probably can't necessarily be buffed. 5 would be harder to remove. I don't know. I'm playing it weak. It might be overpowered if buffed. We'd have to try it out. But 3 counters a while. And then the thing with counter is, unlike some other things that get counter, like say it got like +6 after 3 turns, you have to wait another turn to spend the coins it gives you. So yeah, I think maybe it could be buffed. But yeah, you have to wait 3 turns for the counter, then you have to come back to you. Well, you have to get counter 3. Once the counter goes off, your opponent goes again, then you can spend the coins. So I think it's just too slow. It's too slow. All right, let's argue this card being almost as good as Open Sesame, not quite. Pulling the Strings. It's for the Collusion Gang deck. This card is very good. So it's profit 0. You increase the profit by 1 for each gang in your deck. And then for each gang on the board, you decrease the profit. You seize an enemy unit up to the number of gangs on the board and decrease the profit by the number of gangs you had. So if you have all 6 gangs in your deck, it's profit 6. If you have 6 gangs on the board, it's profit 6, seize an enemy 6 or less, and then lose 6 profit. So you can lose coins necessarily by... We should pull this card up, because people ask me questions about this card quite a bit. Yeah, it's probably a card people ask those questions about. So, yeah, so you get the increased profit one for each gang in your deck. You want to have 6. Profit 6, seize an enemy with 6 or less. If you seize a 3 while you have 6 gangs, you will lose all 6 of the profit. Just keep that in mind. So you want to seize something at the limit. That being said, seizing a 6 is a 12 for 5, plus it's seize removal. It's incredibly powerful, and it's what you're building your deck towards, as well as the collusion. Purge is 4 provisions, I want to say. Pretty sure it's 4 provisions. Did I mess this up? No, it's still 5. No, it's still 5. Yes, it's bad. It's bad. You know, actually, we'll move that to weak. If it was 4 provisions, it might be playable. It can't be buffed twice, so I'm just putting weak. But yeah, it's 3 damage, Death Blow, give the highest enemy power bounty. The damage does go up by 1 for each Witch Hunter, so often in a bounty deck, this would end up doing a fair amount of damage. It's just at 5, you don't want to pay for it. I think at 4 it would be played, actually, but 5, it's just too weak, I think. This is not Blind Eye Apothecary. This is Renegade Mage. This card's also weak. It's Tribute 1, deal 3 damage. It's technically free, 7 for 4, and off the books. You don't pay the tribute, but conditional 7 for 4 is not good. So, yeah, and the damage isn't enough to really kill anything. It's more value-based, and it's not good. Abominations. Ooh, how do we rate this? Let's see here. I want to put this in niche. It only goes with Salamander. And sometimes Fallen Rayla. Fallen Rayla might make me consider putting this in okay as a one of option. You don't want to play it though. It's Tribute 1, Poison Self. Then you get 2 points because it poisoned itself. And it purifies itself. How many times do you have to poison this for it to be good? You have to poison this thing, what, like 3 times for it to be good? If you don't play the Tribute, actually, you only have to poison it twice for it to be good. 9 for 5. You don't love playing this. Don't love it. It could be a one of in a Rayla deck. Could be a one of in Salamander. The issue is if you want one of these, you're just going to make it off of Hideout. Putting it here. Putting it there. I like this card. Doesn't mean it's good, though. This is Salamander Assassin, I think. I think that's what this is called. Salamander Assassin. Yep. So deploy Bounty and order Poison Kill. Order Poison Kill. Order Poison the unit with Bounty, which lets you kill it with another Poison card out of hand. Surprisingly useful whenever you actually bother to include it. It's just at 5 provisions, it's a bit expensive. It's not as good as the other poison stuff. It lets you make like a Golden Necker synergy though. Like Golden Necker poison with this can work. It can work. I just think it's a bit behind the power level you want though, so I'm gonna put it in weak. I think this card probably deserves a buff to 5 power. Next up we have the Lackey. This is the 4/4 Purify. It can only purify allied units, but you get 2 coins back for each thing you purify. It's not particularly good. The fact it can't purify enemy units, even with a condition like Monsters has the Taskmaster, which can purify enemy units or your own with a condition. Then Scoia'tael has purify an enemy or allied unit or enemy with condition. This can never purify an enemy unit. But you do get 2 coins back from removing statuses. I think it's weak. You never want to play this. You just play a Kurt instead. And if you need this, you can make off a Hideout if you're playing Hideout. Mage is pretty okay as a one of sometimes if you want to meet King of Beggars conditions. It's not great though. It's Tribute 4 to do 6 damage. That's just not... Tribute 5 actually to deal 6 damage. That's not ideal. It does give you the Tribute gain coins back and Adrenaline 2 coins. This hardly ever matters. At most, you're going to end up with like 2 coins back off of this. So that's Tribute 3, deal 6 damage. That's just not good. The value's not here. It's only if you need to trigger King of Beggars with this. Savvy Huckster's not terrible. It's not terrible. It does have Bonded. Never seen anyone play this with Bonded. I think it's weak. It does 1 damage. It gives you 1 coin. And then the second one's 2 damage and 2 coins. It does have Fee for Vitality, but it's only Vitality itself. We'll just pull it up here for a second. Yeah, Profit 1, damage, Fee Vitality 1. I wish the Vitality went to 2. I wish this also went to 2. Then it wouldn't be okay, actually, maybe. But yeah, it's just not good enough. If you meet the bonded condition for this, it's a 7 for 4 average. It's not good. Scapegoat's alright. Scapegoat's alright. It's disloyal. Bounties itself gives you 7 coins. Bounty lacks proactive plays. This is a proactive play you can do. It's not the best thing, but it's not bad. You can play a Scapegoat or 2 in your deck. Just Bounty also works really well with Portal, and this messes that up. But I think if you're not playing a Portal Bounty, this card's alright. Sea Jackal's good. Spend your coins. Can spend 3 for 2 if you have a certain hoard amount, which is pretty common to do. You'd use this for your first couple spends, and you get extra points off of them. It does need to spend a bit, like a fair amount to get good value, but just the fact that I can spend with extra value is usually pretty nice. Super Raiders going top tier. Again, thinning's really good. Horde 5's not a hard condition, and it just thins out your deck really good. Yeah, thinning cards are fantastic. Shady Vendor, I think 4 for 6 is the current stat line. This card's been changed like 6 times. Pretty sure the right image though. Yep, 4 for 6. So profit 1, then you tribute 4 if you're melee, tribute 5 if range to create a special with that amount of provisions. And if we take a look here, 2 of these 5 provision specials happen to be in the excellent tier. And due to how the game is coded, if you want to know more about the game coding and this issue here, go check out, I think Lirio has an article on it, and there's some investigation to this and stuff. But basically, it is not a random pool of cards. If you have exactly 4 or 5 version cards, you like always see these 2. You'll always see these 2, I believe is what it is. Like you always see these options for the decks. Getting more of these is amazing, especially this one. If you just use Shady Vendors to stack 4 of these in your graveyard, and then you get a coin bank and go into round 3, you can have like 30 coins of carryover, which is almost unbeatable. So yeah, it's a phenomenal card. Shakedown is pretty meme. Boost 3, 3 coins is bad. 3 damage with Dip of Pontar and 3 coins is always better. Pretty much. The only time you ever see a Suck Cleaver. Slander's pretty good though. There's a lot of these Profit 3 with condition cards. Slander's one of the better ones because giving out bounty is typically more value. Like if you bounty something at 3 coins, you can then use those 3 coins to kill the thing with bounty if you use something out, so it's pretty good. Seductress is also pretty good. Same reason as Peaches, it's an engine that works with Passiflora, and you can pull it out with Serenity. Also, if you spam a bunch of these out, the Bonded, when you plays a card, it ends up being more than 1 point a turn, which is pretty nice. Let's see here. I'm going to drop this in OK too. This is Smuggle. So this is another one of those conditional things. You get 3 coins and spawn a Firesworn token. This is a decent enough option, kind of dip in the Pontar, where if you're playing line pockets, it is, or even in Firesworn sometimes, if you want a profit card in Firesworn, you'd probably pick this because it spawns a token. But specifically in Crimes, if you want a 4% bronze that gives you board presence, it is only a Firesworn token, a Zealot, but 3 with 4 coins in line pockets isn't too bad. It's just usually you wouldn't pick this. It just can be an option. I'm just not putting it in bad down here because this card can't be buffed. I think it's not unplayable. Stolen Mutagens. Stolen Mutagens really only playable in like an all-in Salamander Poison deck. And even then, I don't love it. Don't love it. If you have enough Salamander, you get the double effects. Double effects can be nice. I don't rate it too highly, though. I think it's okay. I think it's okay. Okay, this card's also not good. Here's the thing. A lot of these 4 Precision Fee cards, like the fact that you can make them off of Eventide means that people are very hesitant to buff them, but you sometimes do play this one. Because 3 profit is almost good value and it can spend in a Passiflora deck that just wants more blind eyes. I still think it's weak though. Yeah. Is this one? Did we get Smuggle backwards? This is Street Urchins. Did we get Smuggle wrong? No, we did not get Smuggle wrong. This is not Shakedown. Oh, what is it called? All right, we're gonna give up. Swindle, that's what it is, Swindle. Yeah, 4 to 6 profit, and for each allied Crown Splitter, increase the minimum by 1. Now, the problem with this card is the decks that play a lot of Crown Splitters are crime decks and typically play fairly low unit with a lot of control cards. On the upper end, if this gives you 6 coins each time, it caps at 7. Problem with that is, if I want 7 coins, that's a lot. I'm probably just going to get passive coins off of stuff like Dip, off of things like Smuggle instead, where I don't need this. So unfortunately, Swindles is I'm hesitant to drop it in these tiers, as it obviously can't be buffed. So if it's down here, I'm having a hard time playing cards in weak and bad that can't be buffed, because I think if it can't be buffed, it's never going to be used in this meme. I'll be generous and put an okay. If you want a 7 coins always on your 4 provision special, you can play this. You're just not always going to get it because the floor is pretty low. I don't want to put this in meme, though. I think there's maybe a deck that wants it. Deck selector is good. 1 coin per turn engine is pretty valuable. It is range locked. Works well nicely with Portal, though. And I think it's alright. Overall, it's a pretty good card, I would say. The fact that coin per turn works really well with stuff like Jackpot, works well with Forgotten Treasures, has a lot of synergies, and just getting more coins is good, and coins are usually worth a little more than a point, so a little better than 1 point per turn. I like this card. This card, Temple Guard. Success in Northern Realms. It's a melee deploy that boosts 3 adjacent units by 1. Value is not there. No synergies. I mean, technically it works with Nathaniel, but you all know how I think about that card. So meme. Tycloak Hideaway boosts a unit by 1 for each pirate in your hand. Playable in Skellige, actually, with Otkel decks. Not playable here. Tidecloak Ransacker, I believe. Actually, this card's not bad. It's 2 damage and 2 damage and 2 coins, and you always get the coins if you have the Horde. It's just a bit weak. I think it probably used to be 4 base power, but it's not too bad. Townsfolk is good. You make decks around this card. I'm going to put up here. I think Townsfolk's incredibly powerful. It gains 1 point each time you gain coins. Works incredibly well with anything that gives you multiple coins, like Treasure Huntress, like Magpie coins, like Novigrad. They all stack together, give this thing an incredible amount of points per turn. I don't think those decks are the best, but I think this card's really good, which is what makes the decks work. Treasure Huntress is good. Matches card a few times. It's got a Horde 7, infuse a unit with get 1 coin per turn. The Horde enables you to use the fee, which is 3. So you're paying 3 on this card, but it gives you 3 coins. So it does pay for its own ability to give you an engine. They can use it multiple times. So overall, it's pretty good. It enables a lot of stuff. The value is usually not there immediately, but if you're playing the decks where you get payoff from this, like Forgotten Treasures, like Townsfolk, it actually does get the value fairly quickly. So I think it's a good card. Vigilantes are okay. When the opponent gets a bounty on a unit, they take 2 damage. It's not bad. I just think there's typically better things to do, but it's a fun option, and it's not a bad option. Like I said, it's not a bad option. It's being near the top of the okay tier. Witch Hunter Executioner is very good. Profit 2, then you pay 1 to damage a unit with bounty by 1, or spread out bleeding. Spread out bleeding lets you use your coins if you can't kill something with bounty. Being able to kill things with bounty is really nice. It's not incredible value. It's just the fact that it can do the damage to the bounty cards makes it good. I don't think it's amazing on its own, though. It's just more so that it works well in its deck. I'm going to drop the Witch Hunter in okay as well. It's an alright way to put out more bounties if you feel like you need more bounties. Specifically, you can run Tamara. If you run Tamara, then having this get the extra boost point might make it better. Or like an alternative, having more Slanders in your deck. Slander's better, but sometimes you just want more bounties. This card's okay. And lastly, we have Wretched Addict, I want to say. I'm going to go with it and not double check because we're done. Wretched Addict is, if it's poisoned, boost itself by 2. Surprising value. The issue is setting this up isn't great, and you'd rather self-poison on mutants. because the mutants go wide instead of tall, but this does go on its own each turn, so it has some potential. It's just too much setup. No, I'm putting it down here. Yeah, that makes sense to me. Takes too much setup. And that's the Syndicate tier list. Actually, the longest tier list because I forgot to count the cards in it. Tier Maker keeps track how many cards, how many images are in your tier list. I checked before I added the bronzes, which is why I thought it was the shortest. In fact, it is the longest, other than neutral. But overall, let's go through the tier list, take a look, and make sure we didn't mess anything up. As far as the top tier here, I think I agree with all these cards up here. Looks pretty good to me. I see people arguing this one down. I like it up here, though. Yeah, these cards are pretty good. Townsfolk I can see argued down as well. But like I always say with these tier lists, tiers are artificial tiers, right? There's a break here, but this bottom card and this, they're not ranked within the tiers. But if they were, the bottom card in this tier would be almost as good. The top card in this tier would be almost as good as the bottom card in this tier, right? There's a lot of overlap, which is very much the case. In this tier, I think I agree with all these. I could see Caesar move down because if you don't like the mid-range deck with this, you don't have to play this in it. Mid-range jackpot, but I think it's good enough in there. This all looks pretty good to me. I think we're going to stand with it. I think this is pretty decent. I could see Ixra going up. I just don't see her play Nakarantia anymore. Might just mean my opponents, though. You know what? I think this is good. I think this is a good set for the tier list. Let me know what you guys think. Hopefully you enjoyed. And the only one left to go is neutrals, which I do not look forward to because that will take probably legitimately 5 hours or more to record. But we'll see you then. Well, we'll probably see you with some other deck videos first, but we'll see you back with this series then.